Hello again, whiskey friends. Thanks for joining everybody for another Whiskey Wednesday and a very special Whiskey Wednesday. We had David Jennings in the back, Rare Bird 101. We are going to go through a flight that Kelsey put together for us here and talk turkey, talk whiskey, talk about what is happening to this industry these days and all the fun stuff going on. And then Jason over at the Mash and Drum is not going live tonight, so we can extend into some extra innings. So thank you for joining today, whiskey friends. Let's kick off the show. All right. Now, for those of you that are getting your hands on the old Dominic, every day that goes by, I hear more and more people are getting their hands on the wheat whiskey. Maybe that's something we can talk about in the extra innings as well, but would love to hear first impressions and tasting notes as the time goes on. And we'll get into the bull run here in just a second as well. But let's start pulling on the rest of our panel, starting with Kelsey. Kelsey, buddy, how you doing today?
Man, I'm great. I'm looking forward to hanging out with David. Such a cool guy. Read a bunch of his stuff, seeing him on channels and everything. Just have a lot of respect for him and his palate, and especially his historical accuracy and knowledge of turkey and everything that goes on there. So I'm excited to get to hang out with him and you guys as well. And we'll do a little turkey through time flight and kind of visit some different eras and see which one you like the best, or we'll just have fun with it. Should be a lot of fun. And I'm excited about you guys giving us feedback on the old Dom. And then we've got some bull run coming up next week that we'll talk about in a minute. So lots of things going on and things to come. So I'm excited. And I know Dee is excited to get in here and taste some whiskey.
I mean, Darrell, I'm pretty sure I'm speaking for the both of us on this one, but correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I've never done probably anything like the experience we're about to go through with wild turkey in one seating, essentially going through time, as Kelsey said. But curious what you think on that, Darrell.
Yeah, pretty much the same. The only thing I think was the closest thing for us is when Todd sent us, I think, a bunch of different 12-year releases. I think they were like
That's
4
true.
years apart, like the 12-year Purple Label, 12, the newer
Yep.
ones. That was the only time we ever kind of jumped through some of the eras, but knowing Kelsey, some of this is probably older than that stuff. So that was the closest I got, visiting a couple different 12-year Japanese releases.
That is a good point with our pre-Thanksgiving celebrations with Todd over the years, especially when he did that 8-year, took us through all those different editions. That's a good point. All right. Quick saying hello to some people here. Hey, cheers, Nathan. Nathan's pouring some Woodford in honor of David. Top Dog is in. JG is in. Cheers, buddy. Brian's in too. Good evening to you as well. Tim Cornet is in here. Gosfa's in here too. Joe, the sample guy. That image is an amazing banner image. Oh, we'll have to talk about that. I'm curious what David thought of my crazy thumbnail creation there. I can give him a little bit of the backstory on when that got inspired a few weeks ago too. But I guess I can just go into it now. But I had this image of David in my head, almost like the movie The Never-Ending Story, when the character's riding the dragon. And I was like, but what if he's riding a turkey? And then it kind of went off from there. So
Love it.
What's up, William?
All right. William's in here. Cheers. All right. Quinn Ift is in here. I think this is a new name. Cheers and welcome.
Well, cheers to you.
Got Henry Turner, Joey Brown. My Hask. Me Hask. Yeah.
It's a new one, too.
John's in here, too, as is Chris. All right. Well, thank you for joining, everybody. We're going to go through just one more bit of news before we bring David on. But we are on the cusp here essentially just 1 week away from launching our next single barrel pick. This pick is going to be the Bull Run, finished in Pinot Noir, 18-year-old light whiskey with a 44-month finish on this thing. This thing is an absolute beast. I'm sure we're going to be talking about this more as the night goes on as well. But in general, I think this is my favorite light whiskey ever. So I will be hyping this one up incredibly over the next week. And I can't wait to get this in everyone's hands too, to get their first impression on it, because I think it's a crazy light whiskey.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Jeff buys half of this barrel. And I just
retire. That's just the end of it.
Dude, it's just so different, which is the crazy. Like, we could talk about it so much, but when it actually physically starts getting into people's hands and they're tasting what we're talking about, like, because it's not your stereotypical light whiskey by any means, dude. Like, that vanilla cake is like kind of like gone. Like, it's so different. That finish like did wonders to this whiskey. So I'm super excited.
You really, everybody probably, at least when I heard it was 44 months, I thought, oh dear God, this thing is going to be overfinished, but it's not at all. It's not even close to being overfinished. It really, with these big barrels like that, and I don't know if everybody knows, but these are larger barrels that it's finished in. So like the yield is very large on this. And so it took a lot of time in that barrel to get what needed. So I don't know if we've discussed limits or not yet, but
no limits.
Okay, so no limits. So grab as many of these as you can. I'm just telling you, these will be ones that you want to go back to over and over. And it is a very decadent, fun experience with light whiskey, and it freaking goes great with cigars as well.
Nice. Really,
really, really great experience with cigars. So make sure you guys look out for the release next Wednesday, and we'll have Troy and Laura. Is that right?
Yes.
Yep.
Troy and Laura.
Baker's Drinks.
As well as Drifting Drams. I don't know if Dusty's going to be able to make it, but hopefully we'll see, and we'll have all of those people on, and we'll talk about it. We'll do some giveaways that night as well. So make sure you don't miss that as well. And I'm excited. Like I said, I'm a turkey head, not near as bad as David Jennings, but I love turkey. I love everything that the family that is involved with that distillery stands for and how they've led that distillery. So excited to have David on and talk about it.
David, it's time to get you on here. 2-time author. I believe, if I've got my facts straight, Rare Bird 101 launched now a decade ago, and going from launching the blog into brand creation here with Caleb's Crossing, Raconteur Rye. Man, it has been fun watching your adventure the last couple of years, and it's a pleasure to have you on the show and to get to meet you. So let's bring on David here.
Atreyu!
Yes!
What is up?
I'm sure a lot of the youngsters in the audience did not get that, but
that's funny.
They all got it. They all got it. Are there youngsters in the audience? I mean, I think everybody in the median age of this audience probably gets that.
Close to 40, probably.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me on. This is awesome.
Oh,
yeah, man, it's exciting to get to hang out. You know, like I said, I've read a bunch of your stuff and your blog and in your books. It's been neat, like Jeff said, just to kind of watch the progression and the growth, and to be honest with you, an education for myself, getting into whiskey just a short time ago, a few years ago, and falling in love with turkey, and then just finding all this great information of history. Then getting to meet the family a few years ago. I had my bucket list with Jimmy and Bruce, and got to drink a split label with both of those guys and have both of them sign it, got the bottle. So that was a bucket list thing for me. So super excited to talk to you more about turkey and drink turkey while we talk about it. So
heck yeah. Looking forward to it.
So what do you got going on these days, David?
Well, a lot. Yeah, so I have the blog and I have my Patreon, which I put most of my time probably into kind of keeping my community healthy and doing reviews of not just wild turkey, but any whiskey I get my hands on or sent to me or whatever. And most of those reviews go on the blog. So I spend a good bit of my time there. I travel a good bit because, like you guys, I'm doing barrel picks, and that requires you usually to go to Kentucky or Tennessee or wherever. And so I'm doing a lot of that. And thanks, Cheech. And of course, I've got books that I sell and all that. But a lot of my time lately has been spent trying to work on my brands, which, I'm not trying to be like the next Penelope or anything like that. And it's just more it's fun for me. It's kind of like an artistic thing for me. I was a musician for a while and wrote songs and enjoyed playing music. But then when I had kids, I kind of had to settle down. So my blog was like my creative outlet for a long time, and my books were as well. And now I've kind of moved into bottling liquid that I think is cool and exciting. And I do it for me and just hope that everybody else likes it. But I'm not trying to kind of bust down the doors and be the next big thing or whatever. So it's Caleb's I do with my dad, and Raconteur Rye I do with James Simons at Woodwork Collective. And we have a lot of fun. So, if you're interested in any of those, you can go to calebscrossingwhiskeyco.com or raconteurrye.com and you can pick up bottles there. So would love for you guys to try it. And maybe I can be back on one day and we can do a flight of some different
Absolutely.
Caleb's and Raconteur Rye or something like that. But
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
so,
That'd be
but
fun.
thank you.
No, man, thank you. It's been really, like I said, it's been fun to watch the progression. But I mean, everybody that's tasted, I haven't talked to anybody that has tasted the Raconteur Rye that didn't like it. I mean, all the different
Thank you.
iterations, and it's just like when we're doing this, like obviously it's not stuff that we are blending, but it's a lot of fun to find those gems, those hidden gems to taste through, and then have everybody else share that experience with you. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Every time you say Raconteurs, by the way, the rye, I play the song in my head, Steady As She Goes. And Jack White was in that band. It hits me every single time.
Yeah, it didn't really have anything to do with that, but more the definition of it, which is a storyteller. But yeah, the same thing for me too. Like I knew when I came up with that, I'm like, I'm going to get so many Jack White comments and everybody, like every time somebody does like an Instagram post, that is like every time, the
Steady As She Goes is the song on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Before we get into the turkey here, I'm going to open it up with the debate and maybe see where your philosophy is. So
Okay.
we've now picked an American whiskey that was finished in Pinot Noir cask for 44 months.
Okay.
And we also went to Backbone, hung out with Nolan, and we picked a 9-year bourbon that was finished for 4 years in Tawny Port.
Okay.
And Nolan is like the opposite of anyone that we talk to. Like he is just like, put it in that finishing cask and forget about it, and it will speak to you and tell you when it's ready. Other people are like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, measure it by the hour, sample that thing at 3 a.m. every day. Like, they're really, really precious about it. I'm curious where your philosophy is, especially with your releases dealing with these finishes.
Well, so there's some things to think about. It's like, number one is who's at risk here. So, if you're playing with other people's money, you probably ought to be a little bit more careful about what you're doing instead of just dumping it and go, I'll taste it in 2 years or something like that. There's no way I could do something like that because that would be irresponsible. So I think it kind of depends on who's cutting the check. Now, if you're cutting the check and it's you're the one who's on the line for it, then you do whatever method you feel like you want to. And that, the best method that you think. Now, whether, that whiskey's going to turn out well, I'd argue that you should be trying it. So, and then there's so many other factors too. Like, is it first fill, second fill, third fill, or is it a wood finish? Are we talking, in this case, you're talking about a wine finish, which I feel like wine finishes, especially if it's first fill or even second fill, it can get impactful pretty quickly. And especially if you're looking at a wine that maybe had sulfur involved in the process, you got to watch out for stuff like that. I've never done any wine finishes like that. The only wine finish I did was Pinot de Charente, and that doesn't use sulfur. It's not even really technically really a wine in the truest sense. So, it really just, depends on a lot of factors. You also got to think about the end product. Are you shooting for a specific profile? Like, do you have a profile in mind? Well, you can't just like set it and forget it and, hope that you land on it. You've got to kind of stay on top of it. So many factors there. And then, different types of whiskeys finish differently. So rye is going to do a different thing than bourbon. And, a high rye bourbon is going to be different than a low rye bourbon. And a high rye is going to be different than a low rye. And like just so many different factors but it never hurts to taste it. You're not going to do anything, to the whiskey. It's not going to hurt to taste it. So, I'm still learning, guys. I mean, I'm not like, a whiskey expert, or it's not like I've been, messing with liquid for a long time. I mean, the first thing I did was project I did was single barrels of wild turkey at barrel strength. And so there wasn't really a whole lot of having, only tasting we had to do was just to decide whether we wanted to bottle it or not, there was no finishing or, that kind of thing. So, and it depends on a lot of things. And the individual is probably the thing that it depends on the most. So who's at risk, and how experienced is the person doing the blending or curating or finishing or whatever. So really, really good question, but probably not the short answer that you wanted.
No, it's a complicated thing. We even were picking these and like got these long finishes, and we're like, are we crazy, or are these just really good? Like, what makes them good?
If it tastes good, it tastes good. That's it. That's kind of the big determining factor there. And then everybody's got a different palate, so you might think something's amazing, somebody else might not, and that's just how it goes. So there are plenty of people that go nuts for Weller and wait in line and all that, and then it's 6-year whiskey. You know what I mean? It's like Weller 107 is just 6-year-old. So I don't know. It all depends on the person, their palate, their preference, and all that. So, but it sounds interesting to have a finish that long. I could see that working, especially if the barrels had been used before. Then it would require actually more finishing time to get that influence. And I actually prefer that. I think second fill is probably the most ideal for finishing bourbon and rye, if it's a brandy finish or a wine finish or something like that. Maybe even third fill. When it gets into like wood finishes like Amburana and Mizranar and these third, fourth fill, I think are going to be a lot better than first and second. So it really just depends on what you're doing, and each one of those things is going to require a little bit different approach.
Yeah,
definitely. Yes, drink some.
I do.
All this talking about whiskey makes me thirsty for whiskey for some reason.
I'm going to uncap these. And you're not going to tell us anything. We're just going to nose these, taste these, and just rank what we think is best, right?
I've just nosed A, and it's pretty, obvious it's a Dusty.
Is it? Actually, I could look at the color probably.
Well, it just has that. So on a lot of the Dusty turkey, which I assume this is Dusty turkey because it smells like Dusty turkey, you get like a brandy type of note, like almost like a cognac, like a fermented fruit. So a lot of those Dusty turkeys have that kind of brandy-esque kind of fermented fruit thing going on. Not all Dusty turkeys. I've had some that kind of come across like Dickel. They kind of have a mineral vibe to them. But this to me has a nose that, almost has like a little hint of cognac in there.
I agree with that. That's actually the first thing that I smelled and caught me off guard too. So this is So this happens.
Maybe it is.
Part
Maybe
of the
we're being
profile,
punked.
Yeah, I did joke with Darrell about that. I was like, it'd be really funny if none of these were turkey in the end, and we're just going through this whole thing.
If it was just you guys and not David, I probably would have done something like that, but I wouldn't do that to David.
It's interesting. Are we sipping now? Because I'm sipping.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
The palate has a kind of an odd, the nose does not match the palate to me.
Mm-hmm.
The nose is very fruity, and then the palate is very musty. It's like kind of got like an attic vibe to it for me.
Yep. This is one that I felt like was the most unique that I had.
It's very odd.
Yeah, it's very off profile. But it's
is this
like
an 81 proof? I mean, an 80 proof by any chance?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I figured. Yeah, that's the problem with the 80 proof Dusty Wild Turkeys is that they're very inconsistent. And some of the worst whiskey I've had from Wild Turkey has been the 80 proof. And then I've had some pretty good 80 proof Dusty Wild Turkeys. But I talked to Eddie about it one time, and I said, what was the big difference between, the 80 and the 81, and he said, well, the 80 proof stuff was like 4 years and a day. So it's not anything. Now, during the glut, could they have put some older stuff in there? It's always possible. But you would think that would have been put into other products, like 101 or the 86 or the, if we're getting to 91, it could have gone in Rare Breed. And if it's 94, it could have gone in Kentucky Spirit. And there were plenty of exports all throughout the 90s too that, barrels could have gone into. So I doubt they would have put, if they put any old stuff in this, they probably were stinker barrels that like they're hoping to bury, So, it could be like some, 18, 20-year-old stuff in here that was just like, we got to get rid of this. Let's just dump it in this batch. It's, 500 barrels or 1,000 barrels or whatever. So, but yeah, this is so I figured this was 80 proof Dusty Wild Turkey.
It has I like the texture though. It's for an 80 proof, like this thing sticks to the glass. Like if
it's got a little oil to it. Not anything tremendous, but that finish is really strange, isn't it? It's almost like not cedar, but there's like this
I get a slight
strange woody note. It's like a strange woody note that's not the typical oak that you get on the finish. And like I said, cedar's not, maybe wet cedar, like I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of the only thing I can think of.
I almost get like a polish on it.
Yeah, and almost a little bit of a plasticky kind of thing, just lightly in there. Again, I'm not. I think this is Kelsey. If this is your bottle, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to poop on your bottle or anything.
You're good.
We didn't make the whiskey.
But it's the nose is great. The nose is like you're expecting. Okay, wow, I'm really going to go into some like dusty stuff. And at first, I thought maybe this is a decanter because of the funkiness. Because like those decanters are very inconsistent. You could get 3 decanters of the exact same series, and you pour them, and they could taste totally different. And so sometimes you get weirdness like this on those decanters, depending on how they were stored. But yeah, it was pretty much this reminds me of the 80 proof one. So yeah.
Do you want to know what it is first or at the end, like after you taste it?
That's up to you guys. I'm thinking it's 2000s 80 proof, somewhere like early 2000s 80 proof.
It's 1996.
Okay.
Handle. The thing that is interesting that it tastes different now than it did when I first opened it. It's got way more oak on it now than it did whenever I first did it. But the interesting thing is that it was off profile to me. Like you said, the nose didn't match the palate. It was off profile, so it's fun to put in a flight, especially amidst like a higher proof flight, and you put that in there and they're like, what in the world is this? But it's just an interesting profile that I hadn't ever tasted before like that. So
yeah, they're real. Like I said, you could buy several of them, and they're those 80 proofers are very inconsistent. And I've had good ones, decent ones, and I've had one that like it was a total drain pour, like it was just I couldn't even finish it. It was so bad. So that but that's it's not their flagship. It's not really an enthusiast drink anyway. So it's people buying this or shooting it or they were putting it in Coke or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, Darrell might do that with anything, so I don't know if Darrell.
My dog is like attacking right now. I might do what? I'm sorry.
Put it in Coke.
Oh, I've had my share of whiskey and Cokes. Let me see.
No shame in that.
Well, let's go on to the second one and see what you think.
Okay. All right.
It's a little bit different.
Okay. Let's see. I like the nose.
Oh yeah.
It's a nicer oak on the nose compared to, it doesn't have that funky fermented fruit that the first one did, or at least not near the volume. Yeah. But it has a nice oakiness to it. But still a lot of corn sweetness and vanilla, caramel. I mean, it's not like it's not nosing like a 17-year-old whiskey or anything like that.
No.
I had to put my dog away. She's going crazy up here. All right, on the B, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, similar to the first one, there's a little bit of a disconnect from the nose and the palate. Not near as much as the first one.
I like the nose quite a bit, though, on this.
Yeah, the nose is nice. I mean, it almost noses a little more. Well, it's definitely noses a little more modern than A for sure, and it doesn't necessarily nose like modern turkey, but it's kind of like there's a transition here. Like this is kind of moving towards the wild turkey we have now, but not quite there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm trying to pinpoint the fruit on the nose. It's not quite cherry. My mind went to pomegranate there for a little bit, but there's a little bit of a citrus undertone to it too for me.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So, nose is
not high proof. I can tell you that.
No. I would venture to say it's probably another 80 proof.
That's what I would think too. It has a very similar the way it dives out on the finish. I'd say it's got a little bit better finish than the first one, but they are very similar. Color's also a little bit.
It's a little
light
darker
as well. Yeah, it's still a light bourbon though.
Yeah. What's interesting now, like I dig the textures on both of them. For like 80, like I don't know if I've had really 80 proof whiskey that felt like this. Like it's sticky, and anything that I have 80 is like really proof down. Granted, this probably goes in right a little lower proof.
Oh, back then, well, depending on what year these are, definitely went in at 107 was the barrel entry proof at that time. So I mean that's why all those early rare breeds are just barely hanging around 110, at 108 to like pushing 111 kind of thing on the early rare breeds, because there just wasn't a lot of proof there. And matter of fact, I remember hearing Eddie say that he had to use a lot of top floor barrels for those early rare breeds just so that it would even look like it was barrel proof. And that's why some of those early rare breeds are pretty spicy. Some could even say hot. They're not the most balanced rare breeds out there. They have that dusty profile. They're thick. They're rich. They're fantastic. Not saying they're not. I'm just saying they are rather unbalanced for rare breed in comparison to kind of what would come later, starting at about 1999 and after.
Yeah.
Yeah, those early rare breeds were pretty legit. Those are like the donuts from that era too, man.
Oh well, yeah, the donuts were. Well, that's the only time Wild Turkey's ever bottled single barrels at barrel proof. Period. They've never done it since then. And they are. I mean, I've had some that are better than others, but I've never had a bad one.
No.
The higher proof ones tend to have more impact and more flavor naturally, but most people tend to kind of go for the ones that are, in the upper teens and stuff. The one I've had that was the lowest proof was 108, and it was fine. It was good. I mean, but it wasn't as good as some of those higher proof ones.
Got to enjoy one of those at Bourbon on the Banks. I guess after Bourbon on the Banks a couple of years ago.
And it's such a
House
cool
of
bottle.
Commons with David.
Oh yeah.
Such a cool bottle. Like I killed my donut not too long ago, and I've just kept it as a decanter. Just like So I've got a bunch of like barrel proof turkey samples just from over the years, from like during COVID when they weren't doing on site picks and that kind of thing. Or if I do a barrel pick that's not on site, I try to keep the samples if I can. And just dump them, and it's kind of like not an infinity bottle, but it's just like it kind of is, but it's all just barrel proof wild turkey.
Yeah,
because all the picks are tasting the best.
Actually, older than the first one. This is a 1988 French release. That is
86.
86.8.
Yeah.
So, and this one was, I don't know when I got this about, I don't know, last year sometime, but it's it's a different profile too.
Very, yeah. They're very, it's like there's this woodiness on the palate finish, and it's probably just the fact that, it's not only is it low proof, but it's younger, but it's dusty turkey. So it's like, you're getting the old barrel entry proof, the Cypress fermentation tanks, the old cooperage. And then, that's why you're getting this great nose, but it's kind of hiding the fact that, there is some kind of youthfulness that you don't find out until later,
Well, and the other thing too is that lower entry proof really helps the viscosity of it too.
Sure.
So, I mean, you're getting a lot more flavor at that 80, 86, whatever, than you would have if it had gone in at a higher barrel proof, right? So,
right.
It's just fun.
What year was
absolutely, yeah.
I like this one.
What year was that one you said? 86?
You said 86.
88.
Right?
88.
Oh, 88. Okay.
So 96 was the first one, 88 the second one. There we go.
Yeah.
Yes, buddy. Yeah, I dig. I like this one. I like it more than A for sure. I wonder if they're going to progressively get better. I don't know if he set it up on purpose in a certain way or not, but this one for me is definitely better than the first one.
It's kind of, I get this really strange note on the finish, and you guys are going to be like, what? But it's like fabric softener or something. There's a really weird, like florally kind of thing going on that it's kind of not soap, but it's like in the soap family. You know what I mean? There's a floral kind of thing there that's kind of soapy, but I don't know. Fabric softener is the first thing I thought of, like Snuggle or something.
Yeah.
I know where you're getting
I agree with you. Yeah. I was thinking a couple different times. I was like, there's something actually, I didn't find it funky. I actually found it refreshing about the back of the palate. And I wonder if that was it. It was almost that type of like cleanliness to it.
Yeah, there's some kind of like florally kind of thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See, the nose is the opposite though, which is kind of crazy. So nosiness, like it comes across darker, enriched, than the nose is just. I mean, the palate's just brighter. Like I get some of that citrus. I get the note that, like, I know what you're saying. I don't know if I would say fabric softener, but I know what you're like. I'm tasting it. And I know
it's like a floral kind of, but it's not the Four Roses kind of type of floral. It's like there's
right.
Yeah, it's bright. Yeah. Which is weird because the nose is the opposite. Like it's darker, rich nose.
The nose is totally on both of them. A and B, the nose way different.
I really like the nose though. I really like that nose.
I like the nose of A a lot. I think A's got a nice little It's just that fermented fruit, that brandy-esque,
Yeah.
little bit of butterscotch in there.
It almost comes across as like an old can't even talk, cognac.
Yeah, it's got like a cognac kind of quality to it. And I get that on Dusty Turkey sometimes, depending on what it is. But this is just really coming across, very, very cognac-like.
That one's interesting.
This makes me want to grab that old bottle I have. So when my dad passed away 20 years ago, he had a bottle of Wild Turkey that was in the back of the cabinet. And I think my friends and I never attacked that bottle because we thought we had bad connotations of what Wild Turkey was, I guess, when I was 18, sneaking my dad's liquor. So it just stayed in the back of the cabinet. It was always sealed. And my mom gave it to me, and it just sat in my possession for 10 years until I actually then got into whiskey. And then it probably took me another 5 years after that to actually like open it and enjoy it because it had so much sentimental value. But at some point it was like, I've got a Dusty Turkey bottle here. I'm getting into this thing.
Yeah, that's cool. That's, it's nice to have things like that where you can kind of, connect with people, whether they're with us or not, through things that they've left behind or things that they enjoy or that you shared together that you both enjoy. And so that's a very nice story. I would hold on to that and like try to, space that out as long as you can, because once that's gone, it's over with. But very, very cool story. I think that's super cool.
It probably won't surprise you too much, but it does have an Eagle Rare cork in it because
the
original cork did not survive.
I've had many a Dusty Turkey bottle with an Eagle Rare cork in it because for some reason, like sometimes the modern ones fit, and for some reason sometimes they don't. And like when they don't, the Eagle Rare one works. It's almost like it's like the slightest bit little, and they're probably the same size, but it could be just because that cork gets kind of squished in the glass and it changes its size over the years. So, but yeah, I've had several with the Eagle Rare cork, and I had real sacrilege for a while. Well, I don't think it'd be sacrilege because they're buddies, but my donut cork obviously, broke the first time I opened it because, that's what the donuts do. But actually I think I was able to get most of it out without a problem. I didn't have to do the surgery kind of thing, but it was like never touching that glass ever again. And I had to find a cork to work, and ended up being a Blanton's cork. So my donut, it had a Blanton's cork, the whole time.
That's awesome.
I figured Elmer was looking down from heaven, smiling and waving, And anyway.
That's funny.
Does it still have the Blantons on it now that it's the Infinity bottle too?
No, I found just some generic brown cork that fits just fine after I killed it, of course. But I figured that like that was the end of an era, and if I was going to refill it, it needed to be, something different, because for so long I looked at that bottle as like, that was my only donut that I've ever had, and it lasted me for a long time, and finally, like I said, killed it off. And the bad thing was when I killed it off, I realized that I made a mistake, and it should have killed it off a while before because it was kind of flat, and it had been sitting with too much time in the bottle. But oh well, I still drank it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's that one thing you're never, I don't know, you don't prepare for it accurately, but it does diminish on the finish. Well, so one of the things I was real.
I don't mean to interrupt.
Oh, you're good. Go for it.
But that you're right. That is one thing that like you kind of have to be mindful of. But the funny thing is, I've had bottles that have lasted like a long time, like 8 years, and never got flat. Been fine almost all the way up to the end or whatever. That one for some reason was not. And I wonder if it's the dusty factor. Like it seems like modern whiskeys that they can kind of hang out longer, But like when you pop the cork on a dusty whiskey, I think your hourglass is smaller for those. So anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just was a little thought that I popped in my head there.
It's possible. around 2018 to like 2021, 2022, I was actually pretty religious about taking 2 ounces off of any meaningful bottle I had when it was like right at the 75% mark. I always took 2 ounces and I put it aside. And I've started actually now comparing it. If I still have that bottle on my shelf today, let me compare it to that sample that I did. Oh man, sometimes it's night and day. As you said though, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it does trick me. The Blanton's straight from the barrel one tricked me a little bit on which one was the old sample versus what was on the shelf for a long time. But sometimes Blanton's doesn't have a big finish anyway, so maybe that one was, fine there.
Yeah.
So
All right, we get into
move on to C.
All right,
yeah,
C.
I nosed and took a little sip, and this brought me down the Russell's single barrel lane as soon as I sipped it.
Man, I got some cherry on that nose. There's the cherry. I got
Like, this got to be a Russell single barrel, dude. Like,
almost a cough syrup cherry there. Look at that.
It's definitely more modern than the other two.
yeah. It's
Man.
so this almost matches the nose and the palate on this are pretty similar. It's not like the complete opposites like the first two.
Yeah.
Like this one's bright and like that modern like citrus. I tend to get like orange zest and citrus notes on some modern turkey along with like some cherry vibes. And this is all in that realm for me. Like I don't know. I know actually the second one was older, so I can't say we've been going up in years. But this tastes like pretty modern Russell's Reserve for me. I could be completely wrong, but it's bringing back memories.
You're not.
Okay.
I'm getting more of a Camp Nelson vibe on this one than the other two. It's hard to say though.
It's definitely got that brighter, citrusy, like upfront profile. Like a lot of the Camp Nelsons for me that I've had have been more juicy fruit forward, like that kind of a spearminty but sweet type of a profile, dependent, except for the CNFs. This was a little bit different. I actually don't know the Rick House. I mean, I know the warehouse, but these bottles didn't put where.
So the Tyrone.
So is this kind of
No.
circa 2020 with the tag or 2018?
So this is a fantail from 2017.
Oh,
There we go.
wow.
Um,
It's way above that. Well, not way above that.
Warehouse H, Rick number 4.
Interesting.
So this was
101. Wow.
this is when they were still handwriting the barrel numbers. Like this is barrel 999. It was bottled on 8/3 of 2017. And
It's hotter than 101 proof. I can tell you that. It has.
Yeah. That's why I thought Russell's.
No, I agree. I thought it was a Russell's pick too. I was thinking it was like a Camp Nelson Russell's pick because it has a lot of spice to it. But that's interesting. I've had tons of H's before, but not like this one. This is a different one.
What year did you say, Kelsey? Sorry.
18, right?
17.
2017.
17 and 18 is where you saw a lot of those H's.
Yeah.
Now, you're talking about different notes and different Rick houses here. We got a question in the chat. Favorite note to get when selecting a single barrel?
Well, I don't really have like a favorite note that I have to get because depending on what you're picking, like, they're going to have different notes, you're picking a rye, picking a bourbon, you're picking wild turkey, you're picking Buffalo Trace. I think what I look for is really just a gut feeling that this is a good barrel. Like I try not to nerd out too much. Like when I do barrel picks, I prefer to do them blind, regardless of who the producer is. Because what happens is if I know what I'm sipping, like for example, imagine going to Four Roses and you're going to taste at least you're going to taste one barrel from each recipe, unless for some reason they don't have all 10, and sometimes you have to double up on one. But if you knew what those recipes were, you would start assigning notes through association.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like if you got a cue, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm definitely getting that kind of like florally, kind of weird thing, or or if you knew it was an E instead of a B, you're like, oh yeah, this is a lot more tame on the rye notes or whatever. And it's just your brain, because your brain is wired to, it does not like the unknown. The human brain does not like not knowing things. So what it does is it tends to associate, like in panic mode, with whatever it can get to kind of, everything's going to be okay, and so it tends to gravitate towards familiarity, and sometimes that familiarity is contrived or imagined.
Do you have a favorite warehouse that you enjoy more than others that you?
It really depends on the year, because with Wild Turkey, there is no consistent CNF. There is no consistent. Now, are there consistently good CNFs? I'd say that CNF is probably one of the warehouses that you're probably going to get a great barrel out of, right? But I mean, if we want to go back to when I was first getting into Wild Turkey, I mean, G was like killing it. G and M in 2016 were like, those were the ones that like just really impressed me. And then in 17, there were these killer Tyrone Bs that came out, some Tyrone Ds that were amazing. And Camp Nelson didn't even get into the barrel program until the very end of like 2018. And when it did, it was not one of those that I was a big fan of, because I was used to all of these like banger Tyrone things. And then Camp Nelson comes out and you're like, what the heck is this? But then, once those picks, started kind of becoming the norm, and you kind of like realized that it was just its own thing, you found like a lot to love it. And then some of my favorite barrel picks I've ever done have been CNFs. But there's C and Bs. I mean, that the list can go with C and E, C and D. Mostly now, Camp Nelson is where I tend to find the best barrels. That doesn't mean that there aren't fantastic Tyrone ones. There were some.
I was going to say the Tyrones that came out last two years have just been absolute crazy. Like it's like my fruit profile. It's very rich. It's very viscous. Whereas the C&Es before those and the C&As that I had were more, like I said, juicy fruit, citrus forward, brighter profiles. But man, Tyrone Q, K, Tyrone B, and D. Those are four of my favorites that I've had.
Yeah, so it really just depends on the year. So it's hard to say what my favorite rickhouse is. I mean, and I think that if you talk to Bruce or Eddie, whatever, they're going to kind of tell you the same thing. Like they may have now, since they've been there their whole lives, they may have sentimental attachments to these rickhouses that play a part in that decision. I don't necessarily have that. I mean, if I'm sentimental about anything, it's Tyrone A, just because I love being in Tyrone A, and it's a literal piece of bourbon history, American history, really. And I think that would be like, if there's any warehouse to save, it's that. But Camp Nelson, profile wise, is there are certain rickhouses in Kentucky that I think make some of the best bourbon. Sadly, Deatsville is going away. I think Deatsville is fantastic at aging bourbon. Obviously, Camp Nelson is my favorite, but then Deatsville would be behind that. And then the clay rickhouses at Green River, A through D, I believe. Those clay tile rickhouses just age bourbon and rye beautifully. So there are some little aging meccas in Kentucky, but I think Camp Nelson's kind of the king of them all, in my opinion. But everybody's got their different opinions on that.
Oh, sure, yeah.
If you're a big Old Forester fan, which I'm I love Old Forester, but if that's your favorite brand, then you actually enjoy the climate controlled warehouses. I mean, they have a couple that aren't, but the grand majority of what you're sipping is climate controlled. So it kind of boils down to your personal preference. Well, it always does. But I do think if you polled a lot of bourbon nerds what their favorite rick houses are, I think you're going to hear Camp Nelson and Deatsville a lot. So
a lot of Camp Nelson. I think I had a C and A. It was like I just got into turkey like max 2 years ago.
Really?
Yeah,
Well,
dude, like I got into whiskey like
you've been doing this for a long time, man.
But like
You've been missing out. That's what I'm just saying. That's what I keep telling him.
He was strategically holding back. So
like there's a lot of like regular stuff that I've never tried, but like got into turkey relatively recently and dove down the rabbit hole hard literally last year. I think it was. I had a buddy, freaking these guys know, but Jonathan, JSLs, had a little tasting at his house one time and gave me a pick. It was called Moneyball. It was a local.
Oh yeah, Camp Nelson B.
Oh, B. Okay. That specific one, I was like, holy crap. Like, it was like 3/4 full. I think we cracked it at the meet. He gave me the bottle, and that damn thing was going in like 2 days. I just kept pouring, like, literally, shit you not, like 2 days.
Yeah. I got backups of that one. I like Moneyball.
It's so good.
It's a lock and key
so
pick.
good.
Yeah, it's a lock and key whiskey society pick. And Camp Nelson B. One of the first, like, the very first Camp Nelson B pick that really kind of like that I tasted was the wine.com one that a lot of people had picked up because it was online. And now is when I was like, whoa, this is wild. Camp Nelson B has a cool profile. And then I got the Moneyball and I was like, oh shit, this is even better. And then, after, I didn't mean to say, you got kids.
It's all good.
But Moneyball, but my favorite Camp Nelson B, if I had to like really like get picky with it, oh gosh, now I'm on the spot here. Moneyball was a big one. God, what's the one that if I think of it, I'll say it. But there was one, and I'm just drawing a blank. But there was one. It's down here. It's the this one, my favorite, and it's one of my favorite Russell's picks. This. Well, the sticker says the Russell send their regards. It's a turkey that's got a buffalo by the neck. But anyway, this was non-KMO RWB. And I wish I had a backup. This is a 6th floor Camp Nelson B and 10 years old and just bonkers.
Killer.
So
yeah.
This is the best Camp Nelson B in my opinion. Maybe even one of the best, Russell's picks. So certainly one of the best Russell's picks. In the last 5 years or so, for sure.
Holy crap!
All right. I've got a more dangerous question.
Yeah.
How many single barrels of Russells do you currently have?
A lot. I mean, I would say because I keep a backup of everyone that I do, and I do a lot of Russell's picks, so I've got all that. And then sometimes if it's a barrel I really like, I might get another one. But I've got just a ton of open ones because I enjoy it. So it's like, there's just tons. And the funny thing is I used to post a lot more on Instagram and Twitter stuff. So it's almost like every day, like especially during COVID, there was like a new bottle. I just, trust me, I enjoy them. I just don't enjoy social media as much anymore. So I'm still enjoying them, but a lot, a couple hundred at least, maybe more than that. I don't know. It's like I don't have an inventory sheet like a lot of people. I really don't keep track of my whiskey. It's quite disorganized. I have boxes from when we moved last year in the basement that are still sealed up, full of bottles that like I had moved off shelves, and now I just don't really have a place to put them. But I've got way too many Russell's picks, but not enough Russell's picks, if that makes any sense.
I'm right there with you, and Jeff and they always tease me about mine. I don't have near that many open. I think I've got 14 open and probably another, 10 or 12 that are sealed that are different ones. The one that came out that Jason did this year was a real surprise. It was a Camp Nelson D.
Yep.
And my God, I'd never tasted a Camp Nelson that was that fruity, like rich fruit. It's Camp Nelson for me has always been more of a brighter profile typically that I've had. But that one was super rich and dark. Man, it was so good.
I've enjoyed the D's, the Camp Nelson D's from this year. Matter of fact, my favorite, last year, my favorite pick from last year, favorite barrel was a Camp Nelson D. So, and then I also did a collaboration with SLB, and we picked a D and Camp Nelson D, and so and that's going to be that's the next single rick house. So that's going to be cool.
Yeah.
That will be very cool. Well, you guys want to taste the last one?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. All right. I've got a confession. I live in Cincinnati, and I've yet to even visit Wild Turkey.
Well, I mean, you just got to make that day trip, man.
Just got to do it. Yeah.
You got to make that day trip.
This summer.
We need to convince Jay next year that we're doing a turkey pick. We've got to get a turkey pick.
Turkey pick next year with Jay?
Yeah, with somebody.
That's on the bucket.
Help us out, David.
That's really the only heritage distillery that I would think is on our bucket list.
That's for us, like to do our own. I've done 3 with Jason, but for us to do our own turkey pick, that would be freaking.
What retailer do you guys use? A local retailer? Or do you do
Shared Core? Shared Core.
Okay, Jay's great.
Yeah.
Well, Len, we can talk. We'll figure it out.
Okay. So you guys on D? Is that what we're doing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is probably one of my most favorite newer releases that have come out. That was widely distributed.
I'm reminded of a single barrel I picked, but that single barrel I picked, it reminded me. So this reminds me of a single barrel I picked, but that particular single barrel I picked reminded me of Jimmy's 70th. So I'm kind of getting some Jimmy's 70th vibes on that.
Is it Jimmy? It's what it reminds me of. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's great. I love Jimmy's 70th. Yeah, that is
fantastic, dude.
Dude,
I don't even mind the 8-year regular one that released after got a lot of flack. But I dig that one.
I do too. I like it too. I think a lot of people didn't like it.
It was like one of those things when Remus 5 came out and then Remus 6 came out. Everybody was hating on 6. It was, to be honest with you, if you hadn't tasted the 70th and then tasted the 8-year, I think you would have a totally different perspective.
Right.
Than just drinking it by itself. To me, like, there's a reason I bought 5 of these bottles.
Yeah. I wish I had bought more. And the funny thing is, I thought they were going to last like forever. So I burned through, 2 of them. And then I was just like, I had one more left. I'm like, I better go get some more of these. And then they were all like gone. And I was like, what the heck? This was supposed to be like a wine release. Like, I was supposed to see more of these things.
Once the word got out at how good those things were, they went fast.
Well, they were a steal, for $45 a steal, oh man. But it sips like, like a really good Russell's pick is what it's like. Even that the 101 proof, you don't really miss, the higher proof because it's just such a beautiful expression. I really feel like they nailed this one. Like this was like, if there was a expression to create for Jimmy's 70th, it couldn't have been any better than this. Like this was like the way it needed to be, because why don't you do this 18-year-old? Jimmy doesn't like that. Doesn't like 18-year whiskey. He's not going to care about that. But if you make 101 and you make it 8, 9, 10 years-ish or so, he will enjoy it, and that's kind of his thing. So much like, Parker Beam, when he did Promise of Hope, a lot of people at the time, this was years ago, but they got upset because they're like, it's only 96 proof and 10 years. I can get Henry McKenna for 10 year for 100 proof for $50. Why am I going to pay? The point was, it was supposed to be, and Parker actually picked those barrels before he passed away, but it was his favorite rickhouse, favorite floor, favorite barrels, and they were all bottled as single barrels at his favorite proof of 96. So you don't know what barrel you're sipping. They did that on purpose because he didn't want one barrel being favored over the other. So every bottle of Parker's could be from a random single barrel. You just don't know, and there's no way to know. So I think that in the way that Heaven Hill nailed that, Wild Turkey nailed this. It's as true to Jimmy as it gets.
Yeah.
Well, that's one thing that Bruce talked about a lot. Is like everybody expected Jimmy to have like these really old barrels, and what Bruce says, Jimmy likes 6 to 8 year old barrels. That's his jam.
He's big on the 8. The 8 is like, obviously
he's blending. He really likes the 6 to 8 year blend because it gives a balance between the two. But it's funny talking to Bruce when he was blending the first batch of Russell's 15. He's like, I didn't really do anything. I just put it all together.
Well, I mean, they were all from the same lot, but he did, to his credit, recognize that it was special. I mean, I think that's half the job, honestly. I mean, if whether you're a blender, a distiller, a curator, or whatever your position is, if you're working with liquid, half of your job is just knowing, is this good liquid? And if you can't check that box, you might as well not even move forward, right? You've got some work to do. I remember Eddie had mentioned when he first started, Jimmy set him down and gave him samples of new make from all the different heritage distilleries, Beam, Maker's Mark, whoever, right? And it was Eddie's challenge. Jimmy's like, as soon as you can pick out which one is which, we move forward. So Eddie had to recognize each distillery's whiskey by their new make, not by their maturate, but by their distillate. So that's a challenge, right? And so half of the job is just being able to taste, being able to recognize that what something is and is it special or not. I think that to Bruce's credit, again, he recognized that those barrels were insane. And Russell's 15 is arguably one of the best Wild Turkey expressions ever. I know a lot of people, cheesy gold foil. Yeah, I get it. And I totally agree. I'm not saying cheesy gold foil is not awesome, whatever. Some cheesy gold foils are better than others. But
it's a different animal, though. It's like comparing apples and oranges to me.
It is very much like comparing that for numerous reasons. But if you set me down and you poured me a glass of, let's say, 85 cheesy gold foil, which is like the cheesy gold foil to have, right? And Russell's 15, I can't promise you that I'm going to claim that one just blows the other one away, because I honestly think that each one of those has a very A+ profile, right? Yep. So it becomes, like you said, a thing of preference. But does one destroy the other one? Not really. Not in my opinion. I agree with you. Get a lot of heat for this, but I'll say it again. I do feel like Dusty whiskey is overrated. I feel like a lot of people put so much, just credit to Dusty whiskey that they kind of, don't see the forest for the trees in a way. It's kind of like, I get it. There is this amazing, historical kind of profile thing, and there's these notes that you're probably not going to find in the grand majority of modern whiskey. And I get that it's an antique. All of that makes total sense. And I'm not saying that vintage whiskey isn't worth a premium. It is. It's an antique. So obviously it is. But if you're buying to sip, you're buying to drink, and you're just looking for a phenomenal whiskey, you do not have to pay $2,000 for a bottle. You don't. I mean, that bottle that we're tasting right now is purely evidence of it. I mean, right? Yeah. I mean, Jimmy's 70th is as good as an 8-year-old turkey is going to get now. I mean, in my opinion.
Agreed.
And I mean, I'd love to be wrong. And Bruce, if you're watching or listening, prove me wrong. I want to be proved wrong.
Yeah. Exactly.
And two, this is another thing that got me thinking. And, you have this 8 to 9 year old Jimmy's 70th, which is amazing. Think about Beacon, which is 10 to 16 year, right? So, I think a lot of people taste it and they taste the 16 year. They think about the 16 year. But the truth is there's a lot of 10 year in there too. And I feel like that is almost more impressive that it's a 10-year-old. It's a 10-year-old bourbon. It's not a 16-year-old bourbon. It's a 10-year-old bourbon. And it punches, at a level equivalent to Russell's 15, in my opinion. Not the same profile, but
no,
it has that same
that's
quality.
where you get the difference of people like saying their own preferences, right? Like, are you going to be objective about the experience, or are you going to be a subjective about your preference?
Right.
Like, that's what I just poured. I had a little sample of Beacon sitting here, so
Yeah, Beacon's amazing.
That's what I was pouring, because to me, like, my preference, I thought Beacon was good, but it's not my favorite by any stretch of the imagination.
Really? Okay. Well, it does have a lot of tobacco notes. I mean, I'd call it the most tobacco heavy wild turkey I've ever tasted. I mean, it's just a load of tobacco notes in that. And so that's not everybody's jam, but for me, I loved it,
It's great. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think that it got way better about a quarter to 3/4 down when it started to open up a lot more. But to me, like, I love the tobacco notes in turkey. I'm a cigar smoker and a pipe smoker. I love tobacco.
Yeah.
But to me, it's just a preference thing. Like, I just prefer, if I'm going to drink turkey, I would prefer like a fruity, rich, dense, strong. That's just my profile as personal. But it is very impressive. I think the other thing that really was fun to talk to Bruce about was the generations.
Yeah.
When they were doing the generations, and they were talking about they were going to do an equal number from each person, and they wound up, Bruce said we only used 2 or 3, I think, of Jimmy's barrels compared to the others. But it was just, that was a great whiskey, but it was more about the history and the generational thing for that bottle for me.
Well, I think that generation, if I had to pick a whiskey that was closest in profile to Beacon, it would be Generations. I just feel like Beacon is a more polished profile.
Yep.
Like, Generations kind of bangs you over the head, and some people like that. It's kind of like a stag of turkey in a way. It's like fireproof. It's got a lot of spice. It really comes at you heavy. Whereas like Beacon has just as much, if not more, complexity, but it has like so much more grace, and like, it just
it's just like you said, it's just a little bit more well-rounded, well-polished experience. Right. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Now, you said you did get to taste the new cheesy gold foil?
Oh yeah, they sent me a meaty sample of it. It's amazing. My review is on my blog, but just incredible. Like, I got it, and then I saved it for. We had several other folks, influencers and YouTubers and stuff. Like Jason was on there, Bruzel. We had like a stream or a Zoom or whatever with Bruce, and I was just having so much fun. I wasn't paying attention, and like before I knew it, like I had like maybe an ounce left of my sample. I was like, oh shit, I got to write a review, So I had to get like really, careful with that last ounce. And the same thing happened to me with Eddie's 45th. So they sent me a media sample of Eddie's 45th, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to try this. I got to try this, because of all the Russell's 13s last year's, it was my least favorite of all the Russell's 13s. I know everybody's got a different opinion on that. That's fine. But for me, last year's was just, it was my least favorite of the ones that have come out to date. So I was very, very, very curious if this year's was going to be better, the same, worse, whatever, right? Yes, the review for Eddie's 45th is on the blog. But thanks for asking. So when I got that in, I was like, I'm pouring this right now, and I love it. I love it. It is not the profile of the old ones, but it's definitely not the profile from last year. And then I put it up against Batch 5, the 2023 Russell's 13, and I thought it destroyed it. Now, if you like that real cherry forward that cherry oak and leather kind of Trinity thing, it doesn't really have that. But what it does have is it has like dense brown sugar, just dense brown sugar, dense oak, molasses. I mean, it toasted caramel. It's like this dark, really, really heavy profile that is just beautiful. And it does have like some cherry in it. It's like more of a savory cherry. And it's got a little leather in it, but it's not heavy on the leather. Definitely has oak. Definitely has oak. I think everybody's going to love it. You just kind of have to go in with a kind of a blank slate. Don't expect it to taste like last year's, and don't expect it to taste like the early batches. Just kind of, instead of treating it like Russell's 13, just treat it like Eddie's 45th. Like,
right.
What did Eddie want for his 45th? And you'll love it.
I'm excited. I hope I get to see it and grab one. I've gotten, let's see, I got batch 2, 3, 5, and last year's. But
2 is my favorite.
Two was my favorite as well.
Yeah, I know a lot of people, and in a blind, it wasn't my favorite because somebody challenged me on it. And they're like, Kenny Mills like set me up, and he was just like, all right, we're going to do this, And of course, I picked the first one as my favorite, and then the third one was my second favorite, and then the second one I think was my third favorite, and then 4 and 5, which are pretty much the same batch, came in last. And actually, the newest, the last year's came in last, but anyway. So the second to me just has this really dense, like syrupy old oak note that I just love. And you get it like in Kentucky, like if you took the Brown Foreman kind of profile out of it, it has that same like really dark, dense kind of oak thing. And I really enjoyed that type of note. So 2 had that. And I know some people weren't the biggest fans of it, but I thought that it was like no other turkey I'd had before until Russell's 15, and then you got that plus a crap ton of more complexity. And,
yeah,
it's awesome. But,
and that's like when the 15 came out, it was like everything I liked about batch 1 and 2 of the Russell's 13, but on steroids.
Yeah.
Just a totally different beast in itself.
What's funny is like the new Austin Nichols archive, which I absolutely adore. I think it's just an amazing whiskey. The packaging, the story, like everything's just perfect with it. Realize it's expensive, but I mean, they're not the only distillery doing this, right? Like, I mean, they're people, in these companies realize that you can get a lot of money. I mean, just look at Weller Millennium and Double Eagle and all this kind of stuff. I mean, there's tons of other places doing this. It's not just a Campari thing. But I think that Russell's 15 is actually, to me, more of a profile wise, probably the closest that we've gotten to like a cheesy gold like profile, with that stewed fruit and like that really kind of one note thing that kind of goes through from nose, taste, and finish consistently. However, I do feel like the new Austin Nichols gold foil, whatever, is exemplary to me. If it's not better than Russell's 15, it's as good.
I think I would agree with that. I would just think that it's more, whereas I feel like the Russell's 15 is leaning more towards the newer profile of whiskey. And I felt like the Austin Gold Foil leaned back to that, like we were talking about, that older profile.
Well, you get tons of that oak, tons of oak.
And that's pretty much the difference to me. Like it's a complex, but it's sweet. It's not tannin forward. It's not anything like that with the Austin Nichols. Whereas in the 15, you just get all this stewed fruit.
Yeah, it's tons of
decadence.
Yep.
So,
well, I think it's fair to say that in the last few years, we've had just some incredible wild turkey releases from the Jimmy's 70th and Russell's 15 and the last couple single rick houses. Like I think that it almost like got buried. Like the Camp Nelson E was awesome, but like because it was stuck in between all these other crazy LEs, like people just kind of forgot about it, But that one was awesome too, So we've been real fortunate. The only problem is, of course, finding it and paying for it. So,
Exactly.
welcome to whiskey 2026. So, I mean, people are still paying $100, like I said, for Weller 107, and it's a 6-year whiskey. So, whatever.
Yep. I'll stay with my turkey. You guys can have all that Weller you want.
Yeah, it's just showing where we're at now. I do think that things are going to eventually change. It's almost impossible that they won't change, because you look at like Pete Glut was like 87 or so, 1987, and they had like, I think I'd have to go back and look at the numbers again, but I'm pretty sure it was like 3.9 million or so barrels aging back then, and now we're like at like 16.9 million. So, I realize our population has gone up. It hasn't gone up that much,
Right.
It hasn't quadrupled or anything. So it'll be interesting to see where things go. I think that it's good for the consumer. There's going to be plenty of cool stuff. It's not so good for the industry, which I do not, enjoy, but hopefully there'll be some equilibrium there. One thing that does exist now that didn't back then is the internet. So because of that, I feel like there is a lot more opportunity to move that liquid that didn't exist, and also there's that narrative thing. So, back then everything was print media, television, radio. That was kind of like, that was it, but now not only do you have the internet, you have people like you guys and me who are out there telling people about things, trying to say, you got to try this. Like, that didn't really exist back then. So I think that even though, we're not these big corporations that have tons of money, like, Time Warner and all this other stuff, I would like to think that we have some influence, positive influence. We're not, taking selfies and, trying to act like we're, something that we're not. We're just trying to give people opinions. And I think that that whole community aspect, and I think that could see us through the darkness. Maybe I'm just being too positive, but and I love seeing all the new folks getting into it. Like, it's fun to see, you guys. I think of you guys from COVID, like, that was kind of like the big explosion of like, everybody started all these channels, and we were doing it to just hang out. Like, we weren't trying to be like, it was like we'd be up at like 2 a.m, like on just in the chat, like, hanging out with, and it was very organic and original and sincere. I like seeing a lot of the new folks that are kind of carving their own path, doing cool things that, like, I never would have thought about doing that or whatever, so I think there's some room there that there may be a safety net from the community. We'll see. It ain't going to buy all the Beam White or anything like that. But we might be able to keep the single barrels and the LEs alive, though.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting, though, to play off of what you said and maybe what'll happen over the next couple of years, but going back to even what you said about sample A and B, in those eras, they were just maybe even dumping older barrels into those just to get rid of them. Like, let's just get rid of them.
Right.
I feel like right now, even though maybe the popularity has come down off of pop culture, there is still such a base of enthusiasts to like continue to market to, and to continue to even spoil with what's going to happen in the next couple of years as these age statements are going to go up and up and up and over the next 5 years if they continue to slow down on moving this stuff.
Yeah,
I think it's like our community is going to be in the position to capitalize, at least as enthusiasts.
Absolutely. Yep, I couldn't agree more. And if anything, maybe that's kind of if there was a negative thing that happened, with the whiskey industry because of COVID, is the natural progression of things got kind of bumped. So like, before COVID, all of the core expressions were just banging it. I mean, like Rare Breed and not just Wild Turkey, but like Knob Creek or whatever, like these like core expressions that you could just go buy off the shelf, not picks, not limited editions. They're all just like damn good quality. Like McKenna, think about McKenna's from like 2013, 2014. Yeah. So just like most of them were awesome. Four Roses, you could just get the shelf single barrel and it was like amazing, So as the this premiumization kind of thing started picking up, and then right on top of that, you had COVID. So the demand just came in and just just started just pulling inventory. Then, all these barrels that were kind of more choice are being put into single barrel programs and limited editions and things like that. And less of those, and I'm not talking specifically about Wild Turkey, I'm just talking about in general, less of those are going into your core products. And so the core products kind of notch down the quality some. And I think that's true. And I'm not just talking about Wild Turkey, but you can taste it in like, Buffalo Trace or, Four Roses Yellow Label or whatever you want to say.
That came to my mind the first, like whenever they dropped the age statement and then they started doing all these single barrels on top of it, like even their yearly releases, they started to see a decline in quality in my opinion. So
and keep in mind that we're nerds, right? So when we say a drop in quality, we're noticing things that the average consumer probably doesn't notice,
Right.
So but I think that what we're going to see is, just because the volume of barrels that are aging right now, there's going to be no choice but to put a lot more of your good stuff into core products, because you can only have so many limited editions. Look, how many TTB approvals are we seeing now? Like every day, it seems like it's like a new LE every single week, and it's like, how many LEs does Heaven Hill have so far? We're in June, and I think they've got like 8 LEs already, We got like the PGA thing, the Elijah Craig 15, you got Elijah Craig 21, you got the Rittenhouse thing. What am I missing here? Deatsville. These things are just boom, 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 coming right after the other. You can only do that so much, and then at some point, people are like, you know what? There's no way I can buy all this, And then you're going to have to start funneling that back into your core stuff. And if anything, maybe we'll see an incline in quality of the $20 bottles or the $25 bottles or whatever, which would be really awesome, because that's how things were before COVID. You could go buy a handle of Evan Williams, white label or Wild Turkey 101 or whatever. Be like, damn, that's pretty good, Not saying that it's not good now, but it was even better back then. If you don't believe me, do some taste tests.
Exactly. Absolutely.
I do think we probably sent the distilleries the wrong signals over time, though. I do feel like our groups in particular don't buy shelfers very often. We buy you got to put a batch number on it, and then I can compare this batch to this batch.
No,
and then, it has to have that unique factor of it. And now like they figured out, well, I can sell always 20,000 of these or 30,000 of these if I just keep it limited. And then they just keep spinning up new SKUs because of that. Like, we trained them to do that, though. It's kind of our fault.
You're completely right, because that's, what you want. And you see it with other things too, like, like movies and music. Have the limited edition or the director's cut. Like, they're throwing the same thing at you, just a little bit different, It's like, so it all boils down to kind of the consumer. The buck stops here. We ultimately make the decision on whether something works or doesn't work. And I think that we're going to, see, more and more of these premium expressions coming out. At some point, it's going to have to start slowing down, because, there's just no way that you can just, once those things start sitting, on shelves, then you start backing up your core stuff. You know what I mean? Like, the distributor only has so much room in the warehouse. The liquor stores only have so much shelf space. So how much shelf space is going to go to the $300, $400, $500 bottles, and how much is going to go to the $25 bottle that actually might just move, So it'll be interesting to see where all this goes. I could talk about this stuff all night. And again, I'm not an expert. These are just my opinions based on observations and stuff that I've had over the years. And I'm just, throwing ideas out there and predictions. But you would think that the quality of your core expressions could only get better. And that's what happened in the first glut. You had amazing, like a lot of these cheesy Gulf, that everybody just pays a fortune for now. There's old whiskey in there. Like Eddie said, there's like, it may say 12 years, but it's more like 15 to 18 years, So,
Yep.
Well, for you too, with your brands, has this been an exciting time, at least when you're spinning up your own brands and the quality of what's out there?
Well, with the stuff that I do, I'm not trying to kind of, I'm not trying to be a brand. Like, I'm not trying to kind of be like, that's my business kind of thing. Like, for me, it's about having fun, work. I call them projects. Cause like, to me, it's more about like, I want to create things that I love and I hope that other people love. And I love hearing the feedback. Now I'm going to put my time into it, and I'm not just going to slap a label on something and get it out there. I like to create. I like to kind of have a story, a narrative, And so, especially with like Caleb's Crossing, because it's a project I do with my father. So there's a legitimate family connection there. And it's a tribute to my ancestors. And so, there is some deeper stuff there, but, I think that it'll be interesting to see where all this goes. I've got all kinds of projects in my head that I would love to do. Will they happen, or will they work out the way I think they will? It'll be fun to see.
Well, I just know that if I had a lot more money, I'd be buying a shit ton of barrels right now.
Oh,
I mean, it's
dime a dozen right now.
I'm telling you, dude, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But 4 years ago to what they're selling right now, it's absolutely bonkers.
It's interesting. When the prices go up, the risk goes down, and when the prices go down, the risk goes up. So it's like, it looks advantageous. I mean, it looks appealing. I'm sorry that you have all these cheap barrels, but when you buy them, what are you going to do with them? Because you're not just paying for the liquid. You've got to be licensed. You got to have insurance. there's so many expenses that goes into just getting something out there. All that risk is on you. So if you have to wonder, you're competing with giants. I mean, you're competing with Diageo and Pernod Ricard and Campari and Sazerac. I mean, there's significant budgets there, but at the same time, look at the film industry. You just had one of the best-selling horror films of all time,
right?
From a YouTuber
Obsession.
On a shoestring budget. Okay, and he's competing against.
What did I miss? What is it?
Paramount, Universal. I mean, he's destroying them. So, is it possible that the small guy can come out with something cool? Always. That there's always a chance, and probably more so now than ever before because of the internet. But Darrell, there's a movie, a best-selling movie at the theaters right now that is a YouTuber made it, and it's Obsessions.
Obsession.
Like yeah, Obsession.
So there's Obsessions, and there's also back rooms that dominated the box office. Scary movie too, if you just want to have a whole scary movie trio night, Darrell. You can see all the. But
Soldier Day tomorrow.
Yeah,
but it is different though. Hollywood's changing, just as you said. The blockbusters don't do it. Like, I want to go see Lauren and Grogu, and none of my kids wanted to see it, and I'm like, but I want to go see Star Wars. But there's no audience right now for the.
Well, it'll be on Disney Plus next week for like $25. So just sit tight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But no, very, very similar. We're definitely going to go through an interesting era. And I guess
it is going to be fascinating. Yeah.
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 I guess the hope in all of this is, as people seek authenticity, hopefully, bourbon's then on the other side of it, waiting 5 years from now for that crowd to wake up and enjoy the spirit. Let's go.
Yeah. Yep. Well, the cool thing is that, like, you guys have this channel like this, like other folks have their channels, and it keeps people communicating and tied in with one another. And I'd like to think that, you're always going to have a bad apple on the bunch every once in a while. I mean, you guys have your own communities too, and that can happen, but I'd say that 95% of the time we have no issues in the whiskey community. I think everybody tends to get along pretty well. And, we don't let politics and things like that divide us. We kind of all try, we're all just focused on the hobby. And I think that's a really cool thing. And I'm hoping that, and I think they are, I think that the producers are seeing that, and they're kind of like, it used to be that like all the attention went to the big boys in the media. Nothing against them, but like, your big magazines and your writers for different newspaper columns or whatever it might be, And now I think that the industry is starting to see that even if you're just a YouTube channel with, tens of thousands of followers or even just thousands of followers, you have not just, it's not about the reach. It's about, like you said, the authenticity, the sincerity, the communication, the conversations that you're having with one another. You can't, a big ad company can't do that. A magazine can't do that. A newspaper can't do that. It takes, this type of thing that we've all been doing for the last 10 years. I think it's awesome. I really do. And yeah, I have to pinch myself that, what started as like a little side hobby thing for fun, turned into something that I get to do every day. And I'm very appreciative of that. And I'm sure you guys are as well.
No, absolutely. And I think that that's the thing is that when we started this channel, it was all about just hanging out.
Yeah.
We were stuck in our house. We wanted to do something. We wanted to make a connection. And then now we get this opportunity to go pick barrels and
that's awesome
experiences with the people that come and watch this every Wednesday night. And they get to talk about it and they get to share it with their people that are around them. I mean, that's the fun part about whiskey is that it's those shared experiences and shared life experiences. That's the coolest thing about this community, in my opinion. And like you said, the fact that 95% of this community is so supportive of each other and will do things for each other and will promote each other. And it's really, really cool.
It is very special. I'm sure there are other hobbies out there that have some similar things, but I don't know of them. This is where I like to pitch my tent, and I enjoy it. And I've enjoyed being on here. You guys are awesome. Like I said, I've tuned. You don't know it, but like I've tuned into you guys many times before. I'm just, I'll just be laying there at night and I'm like, I'm gonna see what they're doing, And if I see a live stream, a whiskey live stream is up on YouTube, I'll usually watch it. Sometimes I chime in, sometimes I don't. But it's just cool to kind of hear what everybody's talking about. Staying in the relative now and like kind of see what everybody is talking about. And it doesn't always have to be what a friend of mine, Kenny, likes to say, facts optional. I think that's fine. Unless you're spinning yourself as like some kind of historical whiskey expert or something like that. But if you're just like, guys, hang on that. Who cares if you're not, 100% right all the time about the history and all that? As long as you're being honest and sincere and you're putting everything into you'll learn as you go. I mean, I've learned many things. I'll go back and read stuff I wrote 10 years ago and I cringe. I'm like, oh my God. It's like I'm sure if y'all went back and watched some of your first videos, you'd be like, oh man.
Yeah. I've done that and I will never do it again because I'm just like, oh my God.
But you'll never learn unless you do it. It's like, you'll never learn to swim unless you jump in, so it's kind of like, you got to do it, it takes time, so I don't think anybody in anything has ever had like a perfect run, it's like you start somewhere, so
exactly.
But yeah, I've had a great time, guys. It's a lot. I love chatting with you guys. It's a lot of fun.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you for coming on. We appreciate it. And thanks for everybody for hanging out and listening to us ramble on for an hour and a half so far. Jeff, what else do we need to tie up before we head out?
I think that's it. Just again, David, thank you so much for hanging out with us here tonight, going the extra innings with us. And then again, a plug, everybody. We'll talk about it more next week, but we got that single barrel coming out, so keep your eye out for news for that.
Awesome.
Now, Darrell, are you up for hanging out a little longer? Kelsey, where are you at?
Yeah, I can hang out for a little bit longer.
All right.
I can hang out.
All right. Maybe we keep going here. We go.
Well, I'm sorry I got to jump off, but thank you again. Had a blast. Be happy to do this again. Maybe I can send you guys, some stuff I'm working on, and
love to have you back on. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that would be a lot of fun. And then, we'll be in touch after this. Maybe I see what I can do about see if we can work out something on a turkey barrel. We'll see what we can do. Just stay in touch, guys.
We will do it. Thank you again, David.
All right, y'all take care.
Thank you.
Too, man.
All right, later.
All right.
Have a good night.
I was so conflicted there. I was like about to sign off, and I was like, but I kind of want to stay on.
I got the game playing here, so I'm good.
I will say that everybody that's tasted the Bull Run here has been a super fan so far. I'm so excited about that bottle and for people to taste it. Like, if you think you know what light whiskey can taste like,
Nope.
just wait. I'm just telling you. This is not your typical light whiskey experience by any stretch of the imagination. It's thank you to Troy and Laura for reaching out to us as well and including us along with everybody else that was on the pick. I really think you guys are gonna enjoy this pick, and I think that it's gonna be one of those that I feel like, for me, a lot of times finished whiskey is a mood pour. Sometimes,
this is
a lot of times, but I feel like this is not a mood pour for me. Like, I could drink this consecutively and not get bored with it. It's just so decadent. That's the only other problem that I have with it. It's just so rich that I want to do different things with it. I want to try different cigars with it. I want to just enjoy it in different experience settings. So
it's dangerous. If you get this bottle, pace yourself. Unlike me, no comment on that. But yes, pace yourself, because it is. I think the thing, Darrell called this out when we first did it. There's a little bit of a drying note on the back of the palate, not in a bad way, in the I want to take another sip way, at the same time that the finish is extra long. So it's like I'm sitting there battling, like, no, I don't need another sip, but I really want another sip, but I don't need it. I don't need it. We're going to be a little heavy-handed on this one, as you guys can tell. We really love this light whiskey. Man, I don't know. Let's see. Anything else to say on the light whiskey here? I know I just poured some, so I guess I'm going to keep talking about it too.
I poured some too, dude. I hate talking up our stuff, right? Because it almost seems like we're talking it up because we picked it. But I think enough people have bought our picks to know.
Well, I was going to say, I think we've kind of, in a way, just it keeps getting. We've been, like Jeff said. I mean, it's, to be honest, holy shit, that's crazy. We've continually been blessed. Like, we've been in the right place at the right time for the right barrels to come along for the right people. It's just, that's the cool part about this. Like, yeah, whiskey's great, but the coolest part is that more people get to experience it with us and get to taste it and share it with people that are around them, introduce them to new things that they haven't gotten to taste. So it's just, that's the fun part about whiskey. And meeting people like David Jennings tonight was great. Hanging out with him. I could spend hours with that guy just talking turkey products and his experience with turkey and all of that. But just a cool dude, down to earth, very, 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 very knowledgeable about what he with turkey products and his experiences. So that's always fun for me. It's like a nerd out session for me.
No, super fun there walking through. I mean, he bottle called two of those practically right off the bat.
70 80 proof one.
Yeah.
I wish I don't know. I wish I had some better things to send you guys. I didn't have enough of the 85 rare breed to send everybody. Only had like an ounce and a half left, so I didn't want to do that.
3 of these are new for me.
Honestly though, Kelsey, yeah, like I think we need to do this type of thing more often. I was a bit on Monday, we did this thing with Dan last minute where it was like bottle and bond.
Yeah, 100 proofer bottles. Yeah.
And it's been so long since I have done anything non-barrel proof that it was actually fun navigating that blind, because all of my typical things that I've gotten used to looking for, like when we're doing the barrel picks, like concentrating on mouthfeel, concentrating on consistency of flavors, concentrating on all the how long the finish is. It's all out the window when you go to those lower proofs. And it brings me back to like, oh, this is like when we used to do blinds and we just concentrated on flavor. And we almost forget how to do that as we get into the barrel proofs more and more and experience more of the experience side of things. And it was kind of like, man, I even thought about like this, like, man, we just need to go back to basics sometimes. And even one last comment, but Top Jimmy was like, oh, I remember this time everyone was doing blinds and early times would like win. And now that I like went through that experience, I was like, well, yeah, early times was win because we would value it on flavor. Like we weren't evaluating it on all these other things. Like that's why early times had that chance to stick out when we did our early blinds. And now we're not giving ourselves the chance to even acclimate at this level. So,
well, and that's the thing I love about some of these older turkeys like this, even though it may not be your favorite profiles per se, it's just a different, unique experience in a way that kind of tells a story of what was going on in the industry at that time and the differences about what people were drinking. That's the coolest thing. Like when Dan gives me something from the 1930s or 40s to drink, it's not about, to me, about the flavor of the whiskey. It's about that experience. Like this is what it was tasting like back then. And to have that history and that experience that you're tasting stuff that is almost well over 100 years old or right at 100 years old at that point. It's crazy. And that's the fun part about it. And when you get down to these lower proof things that, you know, in my mind as a turkey person, I automatically think of a particular profile, right? When I think turkey. And now I have to go even more compartmentalized. Okay, what years of turkey and what were they doing at this particular time in history? And it's just fun to do stuff like that, you know?
One thing I wondered as we were going through the experience, especially as we were going through sample C with Warehouse H and some of the things that David was talking about, I wonder if you gave David, I bet you he's done this. I mean, he's probably done this. If you gave David like a blind flight of all Russell's picks, different warehouses, and he just had to guess the warehouse.
Oh, I guarantee you he could do it.
I bet you he could do it. I bet he's probably done it.
I've actually done that to myself because when I was trying to figure out like what I wanted to stockpile, and what picks were coming, like what warehouses were coming out, I just made a list and I went through and I started tasting different single barrels and I was like, nope, yes, nope, yes. And so I stockpiled Tyrone Q, K.
Yeah, you were huge on those Tyrone Qs for a while.
Yeah, a Tyrone Q was my main. That was my main thing. I loved that profile. And then the K came out, and then Tyrone D came out, and Tyrone B. So I found out like Tyrone was more of my leaning towards. And then I tasted the Camp Nelson D, and that blew me away because I'd never tasted a Camp Nelson like that. Even as good as some of the CNFs were, there were not anything like that. Of that profile. So that was the fun part about it. That's the cool part of learning what you liked and what warehouses were fun, just nerding out.
But to get so deep on one category, it's not like I can do that with MGP, and that's probably the deepest place I am. Not that they categorize it the way that like, I guess you could go different states and aging and try to guess.
Well, I mean, I think you could do it like eras, like you know, like from 2015 to 2018 and be like, oh, I really liked these barrels from this time. But you know, when Ed was talking, I talked to Ed last night on Discord and he was talking about being on that blind with you guys. And he's talking about Remus not doing as well. And I'm like, you know, as everybody, you know, loved that when it came out, but if depending on where you put that stuff in a blind, and, you know, certain experiences by themselves are much elevated than compared in an experience with another whiskey compared to it. It doesn't hold up as much as what you think it's going to. So it's just fun. That's why you do blinds, and that's why you change the order, and that's why have different experiences with those orders. So,
Well,
I told Richie to ask away.
ask away, Richie. Let's go. I mean, this is actually what we typically do, like backstage after the stream at some point. Like, we keep it to that tight hour, and then we just have fun.
yeah. Anybody has any questions? Ask away.
Buckeye Bourbon in Newark. All right.
Cheers.
Cincinnati myself, buddy. Cheers.
I seen Newark and thought Jersey, then seen Ohio.
Newark, Ohio. Yeah. That'd be East Ohio, Jeff? Newark, Ohio?
I think that would be, yes, East.
Okay.
So I think it's right. Let's see.
It's funny, our viewers
So
go.
it's east of Columbus.
Okay. Yeah.
So looks like it's I just lost it. Like Zanesville and Columbus, if you're familiar with Zanesville. It's right kind of in the middle there, a little north.
Did you all see the new price of Silver Spring is supposed to be $70 going forward? Yes, we did.
Yeah.
So
we gotta talk to Ed because he was on and he was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna change it." And on their website now for JW, it's 70.
There's got to be so many people in his ears though, and as we're gobbling them all up and they're moving all around, it's like, capitalize it on some point. Like that's probably what everyone around him is saying. So I don't hate on him for bringing the price up to probably where it could have been all along.
Could have been
now.
all along, yeah.
Would I have bought it every time I went to Party Source if it was $70? Probably not. I'd have been more selective on the cast. I would have been trying before I buy. I may not have bought some single barrels at 70, but I'd have still probably bought half of them. Like it still would have been all right at 70, but it would have taken away that special nature of it.
Jeff, you start.
Oh God.
I mean, all right. So I mean, Kelsey already calls me what, music schizophrenic, or what's the term that you usually use for me?
Schizophrenic. Yes, very much so.
I mean, I'm very much indie rock. I mean, this band here is indie rock. Probably, 50,000 people listen to them on Spotify if you're looking it up. My favorite band of all time, though, is Guided by Voices. That's the GBV that is on my shirts all the time. They're from Dayton, Ohio. They are a legendary indie rock band. Check out their album B1000 or Alien Lanes from 94, 95. But they just came out with an album last week, which is like their 50th or 60th. So prolific catalog.
That's crazy. For me, favorite bands of all times or singers, favorite bands got to be Zeppelin, Metallica, GNR. Favorite singers, like most unique singers, probably Lane Staley from Alice in Chains, Robert Plant from Zeppelin, Steve Perry from Journey. Journey's up there too in one of those bands. I'm more like a conglomeration of like 80s glam rock, like Poison, Def Leppard, but going into like harder metal stuff like Ghost and Bullet for My Valentine, Ozzy. I mean, all kinds of stuff. If it's hard and it's loud, that's pretty much my jam. So that's what I like. But my background, just to give you an idea, I was an opera singer for a long time, and that music is still like I still enjoy that. And if I'm chilling out, I'm listening to soft jazz. I'm listening to Miles Davis and John Coltrane and stuff like that. So I'm in a lot of ways, I'm like Jeff. I'm just a different section of that music schizophrenic. So what about you, D?
God, I'm not so. I wasn't big into it when I was young. I honestly got into music, I would say like early 2000s, to be honest. But I'm a sucker for the whole Journey, Led Zeppelin type of vibe. I even venture like if I'm talking old school, like I love Sam Cooke. I got like the Best of Sam Cooke on my phone, and it plays through like my Android Auto every now and then, right? But if we're looking modern, freaking I like Teddy Swims, Jelly Roll type of stuff, dude. Like, I'm like, give me like somebody like Teddy Swims. I think is like unbelievable. Like, I love his music. I love his voice.
I just
I like
can't
that type
get
of
into,
music.
like, I just cannot get into him or Jelly Roll.
No, oh, dude, I love his voice, dude. Like, that dude
I can get into Sam Smith. I can get into Sam Smith and something like that, but I just feel like Teddy Swims and Jelly Roll are like their music will not last. I will just say this:
Teddy
their
Swims
music is
would.
very.
Dude, Teddy Swims music.
I don't think their music will last like Sam Cooke and Michael Jackson and Led Zeppelin and some of these bands that have been around for and are still playing for 50 years.
Those are like the best of the best, though. But Teddy, like, I would take Teddy Swims over Jelly Roll all day. Like, Teddy Swim, like, he's that anomaly, right? There's nobody that looks like him that sings like him.
Jelly Roll looks just like Teddy Swims.
But he doesn't sing like him. He doesn't sing like him.
Exactly like him.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yes, he does. He's got all those tats all over his face before Jelly Roll lost all his fucking weight.
No, but
yes.
I said he doesn't sing like him. Jelly
Oh,
Roll
I think he doesn't look like him.
No, yeah, you could see that type of thing. But Jelly Roll's more on the countryside of things with that twang.
Yeah,
Teddy
don't
even
get me started on country. That is not fucking country. You want to go
I'm
country? George Strait, George Jones, and really get into that. You're getting me riled up.
I'm gonna side with Darrell on this one, but it's only because Jelly Roll did put a guy through a suplex through a table at WrestleMania. So Jelly Roll's the only one of all the bands that we could say. All right, next question here.
I'll be there.
Henry Turner, you guys going to Blitz?
Yes.
Man.
Yes. I booked my hotel. I did book it. So I don't have a ticket. I don't think he put tickets out yet. Hopefully not. But I am at the hotel too. So I did book that room.
God, there you go. Waylon Jennings. Yeah.
Not missed today.
Country today is not country. It's pop. That's all it is. It's pop. It's not country.
What is Kelsey's favorite hair care product?
There is no hair care product. It's just shave it all off.
Oh, EJ.
He's asking for a friend though. He's asking for a friend.
Yeah. He needs to know the
all
best.
Right. Favorite whiskey since we are about halfway through. Don't include your
Don't include the picks. Come on. Makes it even tougher.
That's an easy one for me.
I kind of know too, but
I think for me it's gonna be obviously Turkey. I mean, that's just my favorite brand, period. Second to that would probably be MGP.
Oh, we're talking about types or like an actual
like just I'm assuming he's
we can't include our
favorite whiskeys. Bourbon, obviously for us. If he's just asking types.
No, he said
no.
picks.
I meant like, does he mean like an actual bottle? Like your favorite
bottle.
Just
your favorite bottle. What's your favorite bottle?
The favorite bottle I own is Michter's 20. And there it was, I don't own it anymore, but there was a 12-year split label from 1996, which is the year I graduated, that I drank with Eddie and Bruce that I was talking about earlier. Those are two of my favorite bottles that I have or have owned.
You take that 20 over your Heaven Hill 17?
Yes.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 100%.
I have that 20 and I like the 17 better.
What about you, Jeff?
If I could clone any bottle, I know I've still got 4 ounces of it tucked in there.
Our bottle.
No. Oh. I'm going to go shout out to Nancy. Joseph Magnus, batch 28, still lives in my mind as my favorite bottle that I've ever owned. The only thing next to it is the original Chateau. And I went head to head with those two for like months on which one was my favorite. Nancy always won with that particular batch of Joseph Magnus. Gosh, I love that.
Dude, the batch Scott brought to Bourbon on the Banks beat out the Chateau when we did it blind. Do you remember that? He had batch 6.
The early batches, though. I guess that's kind of what I'm alluding to. Those
Yeah.
earlier batches of Joseph Magnus were just
Yeah, those were. I think I've got a batch 30 something that I had her sign when we were in Still Austin. I don't know if I'll open that one for a long time, but
Dude, the signature stays placed. Just open it up.
yeah.
So here's Vic's question. What the hell is this? This is what happens when I start sipping on all this light whiskey.
Yep.
Just wait till Jeff gets a cup of whiskey in one hand and a cup of coffee in the other. Then you know you're really in trouble.
All right. Scrolling down here. Let's see if I find the next question.
What about this year's bottles so far?
Are we still excluding our picks?
If we exclude picks, I'm on Dietrich's, so I'm excited to see them at the Blitz and get to talk to them. But that Dietrich's batch 15 is.
Oh, they're gonna be there.
I love that thing. Yeah, Jason said he pulled them in.
Oh shit!
Sweet.
Nice.
Yeah, I sent him a sample of that batch, and then all of a sudden he was like, "Oh, by the way, they're coming." I was like, "Yes, planted the seeds, and good things
Exactly.
Nice.
For me, it's going to be gold foil this year, and Silver Springs in general has been, from last year to this year, has been some of my absolute favorite bottles. And I'm excited that they're doing well, but at the same time, I wish that I could still pay $40, $45 for them because they were just incredible at that. What about you, D?
Dude, yeah, I'm in the same boat. Just give me every Silver Spring you can get, and give me every freaking walleye. Like, I don't need much outside of those two brands. Like, every single bottle's a banger.
Walleye was a big surprise last year, and everything that I've tasted from them from that point forward has been great. McBrayer's another one that we got to learn about last year to this year. Bill is an amazing person, as well as some of these single barrels that are coming out now. And if you guys didn't get your whiskey nose picks from McBrayer,
left either. I think they only have a few left. But yeah, Silver Spring for me has been like that go-to for this year. Like, it's kind of like how Elijah Craig used to be back in the day. Like, everyone was good, but some better than others, right? Like, I've never had a bad. Granted, Jeff, you got more than me. I don't know if. Would you say you've had a bad Silver Springs, or?
I
know you have a lot of them. I've never had a bad one. I just had some that were definitely better than the others.
I agree, Bourbon Engineer, way better than Teddy Swims.
We still have SM.
Silver Springs.
Yeah. The price in some areas is like slowly going up $2 here or there. I guess what we're reacting to here, I'll show everybody because I pulled it up here. This is what people were talking about. I don't think you might see this in your local areas, but if you were to go on their website and get into like buying online the Silver Springs, because now they're really promoting it too. When you get into here, that's what we're saying. So they're just not marking it up. They're giving it to you at probably what the price should have been all along on their website direct now.
Oh man. But Ed though, he's like,
and then get in here and help Ed with some scotch too.
Yeah.
You gotta buy all the party sauce ones at $40, dude.
Every time I see a new one, I keep going.
Before they adjust their price.
Oh man.
Heaven Hill 22. I haven't tasted this year, Henry.
Yeah.
But I know it's close to the 17. I still think 17 is better. Even not tasting the 22, it's going to be hard for anything to knock the 17 off for me. I don't know.
Heaven Hill 22 was great. The William Heaven Hill 19 was better than the 17, but it's William Heaven Hill.
But here's the thing with that. That's not a fair comparison.
Why not?
And here's why. Because the William Heaven Hill 19 is like 25 points higher in proof, number one.
I take the proof out of that though. Like, proof doesn't make a whiskey better for me.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's not an even. Give it at if you water down Heaven Hill 19 or 17 or William Heaven Hill 19 to the same proof as Heaven Hill 17. 17 would kick its ass. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're watering it down. Like 17's barrel proof.
That's what I'm saying. Put them at the same proof. If you had 17 at that proof, I think it would be the same experience.
But that's not fair because the 19's at
That's
barrel
what I'm
proof.
saying. It's not a fair comparison.
No, but like, right? So 17 at whatever proof, I think it was like 117 proof, was barrel proof, right? So you're not losing any flavor at that proof point. But if you water down the 19, even though it's higher proof, you're taking away from the whiskey, is what I'm saying.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, proof aside,
OG
like
114
This
single
sounds
barrel.
this sounds like you need a thumb war at Bardstown.
Yeah, right.
Figure out who the winner of
This
this
year
is.
was also solid. I will say some of these are really, really good.
Yeah.
Some of them have just
I
been
gotta go
okay. Jeff didn't prefer his, but Darrell and I both like ours that came from the same person. I think that those are going to vary, but I do like that it tasted way better than the OGD 16. That was like quadruple its price.
Hey, okay, I highlighted your comment. There you go. I paid attention to you. I clearly missed a prior comment, but we did pay attention to you right now.
So I'm trying to scroll up here to see what he said.
Wait,
Jonathan, are you being a masshole right now?
Yeah, he's with Lance and Randall Erickson right now.
Uh-oh.
Oh man, he was making me jealous with some food earlier. That's for sure.
Oh, was he? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Jonathan,
there was some lobster.
Hi, we are. I don't know, something being drunk. Hi,
We are happy you are going long tonight being drunk. Well, that's
Who's
not
being drunk? I'm not being drunk.
I'm just happy. Come on, sipping on this.
I do have to get off here. I promise. I need to get off, but
Womp womp.
yeah, I do need to go.
Come on. Great Wednesday though. Thanks for putting today's flight together, Kelsey. That was a lot of fun to walk through.
Good.
So
Glad you liked it.
I finished C&D. To touch though, because we never spoke about what our favorite was. I was flip-flopping between C and D. I think my favorite may be the Kentucky Spirit, ever so slightly over the Jimmy 70th. But I think any given day I may flip-flop towards that one, but I kind of like that Kentucky Spirit a little bit more. What
about you, Jeff?
I'm gonna go Jimmy's 70th. I do think what was interesting.
No, go ahead.
I do think what was interesting about C, David mentioned this at some point, that it came off higher proof than 101. And when I was going back and forth, even between D and C, it still comes off hot compared to it. Like, even after getting acclimated to all the proofs, like I was still like, no, this one's higher proof. Like, I don't believe that it's.
That's why I thought it was immediately Russell's at 110.
Yeah. So there's actually more refined nature, I think, to D than there was on C. And then I liked A. No, I liked B. I liked B better than A. I like the nose on A, but I like the palate on B quite a bit. David kind of mentioned the dryer sheets nature, the floral nature of it. I just find it really refreshing though. Like when he says that, like I don't think of that as like a negative note. Like he felt weird about saying that note as if it was like automatically negative. And I was like, oh no, that's actually why I liked it. I thought it was really refreshing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wanted to give you something and probably for him too. He might not have liked it. That's fine. But I wanted to give you something throughout the years that tasted completely different than what in our minds or people that have tasted turkey would think turkey tasted like, right? So I think that's a good representation of some different eras, but also some different proof points as well as some different profiles. So it was fun to put together.
No, I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Man, Vic, it's 80 degrees out here and 80% humidity. Of course I'm shiny. Okay, so
Sean did a Silver Spring.
There we go. I do think, I don't know. I haven't found any Silver Springs that beats ours yet. Once again, not trying to be cocky about it. I want somebody to like up the ante on us, but that's been the king of the mountain.
Agreed.
Yeah, find one better so we can buy that one.
Right. I know exactly. Like I hope to find one better. That would be awesome. And then I'd buy a ton of those.
Yeah.
If I could. All right. From what's coming down the pike. Oh, Kelsey. Keep answering questions. You got to go.
That's all good. We'll do this last one and then I got to go.
All right. One more.
Tyler.
From what's coming down the pike, what are y'all looking forward to that is still to come out this year, which don't frame this in terms of our picks. I think he's looking for releases to come.
I know what mine is.
Then go at it. Go for it.
So mine is going to be the Hewlin Wheat Whiskey MGP 12-year.
Wait, I just said not our picks.
Oh, I thought he said our picks. No?
Right? Yeah. I think he's saying, what are y'all looking forward to?
I thought coming down the pike was like our stuff.
I mean, we could go on about our. Well, pick one of each. Our stuff versus actual release.
I would say Russell's 45th, the 13-year. Oh. If we're talking about Martin, stuff coming out. Outside of that, the Wheat Whiskey MGP Hewlin Station from us, I think is going to be a top 5 whiskey for me. I think it may hit my top 5 of everything we picked. From what I remember, like that thing is just stupid good.
All right, man. Kelsey, what are you thinking?
The Russell's 45th anniversary on Heritage side. On our stuff, I think that the old Dom wheat and hopefully a Dietrich pick. We can get that lined out because I really feel like if you guys will just get your hands on Dietrich, you're going to be blown away by what it is. And this is the cool thing about it is like, even though it's pot stilled, it doesn't taste pot stilled. But those would be two of my ones that I'm looking forward to. And I'm looking forward to trying to find a gold foil turkey because it's on a different level for me. Like that's my golden goose this year. If I can grab it and find one, that's what I want to try to find.
So I am sitting here. I'm cheating. I'm literally cheating. I'm like sitting here scrolling through Breaking Bourbon's release calendar on like what is even coming out because I don't have anything I'm looking forward to be quite frank. Like at this point, I don't know what it is. I mean, SLB just did a video like all these bottles disappoint me now. And they had like all these releases that we've been saying have been disappointing for like 3 years. And it's just to the point where I just don't look forward to anything until it's in my face because we've almost been conditioned to discount the LEs, which David was talking about earlier too. Like I'm not looking forward to like, I should be looking forward to Remus 10 as an example. 10-year release. Like that should be awesome. But no, the 9 was just so bad. Like I'm just like going to wait and see. Like, so everything is on wait and see mode. I'm looking for value nonstop. So like the OKI 10-year double oak that came out, like $58 sold, like versus looking forward to anything official. That's what makes the barrel picks fun. Everyone's barrel picks too. Like that's the thing.
Like people are posting the gold foils and how much they are and stuff. I mean, if I really wanted it, I could go get it for $1,050, but I don't want to pay that. Like, I want to find it for what it's supposed to cost. Even at $400, it's definitely worth it for me.
I mean, this is no longer coming down the pike, but I guess I would have said I can't wait for another 10-year release from New Riff. But now I tried it, and it's not as good as last year. So I'm just like, okay, now I'm getting to know the vibes of this one. Like,
here's the other thing I'm excited for you guys to try. For our stuff, you're going to get to taste 3 different MGP profiles, 3 different mash bills at the same age, aged in different parts of the country. and they're all going to be 10 years old. There's going to be one that's 21% rye, one that's a 36% rye, and one's that's a 44% rye bourbons, and they're all 10 years old. So that's going to be a cool experience for all of you. If you can get all three of them, I would encourage you to do so, because I'm just telling you, it's going to be a fun thing to go through together. And that's one of the things that I know we all three are looking forward to.
I mean, and everyone, if you're watching like the videos on Monday, you know exactly what I'm spending my money on, because I'm doing a video on it. Like, it's pretty much down to that. Like, we don't get a whole lot of media samples or anything like that. If we're reviewing something, it's because we put our own money on it and we're trying to enjoy it. Like, so if it comes up in our system, like, we'll do a video on it.
Yep.
Let's
all
see.
right, I gotta go.
Run
All
away,
right.
Kelsey.
Later, Kelsey.
See you guys. Y'all have fun.
1200. Have a good night, buddy.
Darrell, I say cut me off in 20 minutes. What do you think?
I'm good with that.
10:30.
10:30.
See, gold foils galore on Unicorn all day. I just can't.
12. Yeah, that's
do
just a lot of money. I can't, like, granted, I've paid some hefty prices on some stuff a while ago, not anytime recently by any means, but that's just a lot, dude. When you have such good whiskey now at like sub $100, dude. Like, we talk about Silver Springs, 40, even 70, dude. Like, like every single one that I've tasted, I would still pay $70 for. You know, and we kind of like hinted around that to Ed originally, right? Like, dude, like, you can charge him more. And he's like, oh, no, I'm fine. Which I guess he's, you know, whatever, got around it and is going to just charge it. But like, it's still worth 70. You know, we just had, what is it? Chill Filtered podcast review it.
Yeah.
Cole and Brian, and like immediately Cole's like, oh, not even knowing what it is, I'll pay $100 for this whiskey. Like,
yeah, Cole was a bit taken aback by that one.
Yeah, like it hits for people that haven't had it. If I guess the right barrels, like, granted, all of them are pretty good, but like anything from that 99, 77 series, like, it's going to hit on a different level. And when you factor in the value for it, you're like, what is this? This is broken. You know, like $40, like it's going to beat, for me, like, I don't know if there's going to be a rye whiskey, should I say, better than that for me this year. You know, I know we got some stuff in the works, some high age MGP, you know.
Yeah, I got to send those packages out tomorrow. Actually,
maybe that can rival, but even at like 13 year, I don't think it's going to be better. You know, like that bottle's crazy, you know, but like I said, value comes into play. I was excited about the Starlight 10 until I saw the price. I don't even know anything about that, Tyler.
Yeah, it's like 150, I think. Was it 150 or 200, Tyler? I think I'm a little late on the comment.
Ooh,
but shit. That is what I appreciate about New Riff, though, because I got those 10 years for $90. So again, just sniping these things under $100 has been.
And Peerless, what they did it. I think more than that. I think it was 180 for their 10 year. But I heard really good things about it, but it's still pricey.
I guess there's one thing though, Darrell, and I'll call myself out for this a little bit. So we keep these diligent notes in the scoring system behind the scenes and all that kind of stuff. And I don't think I've actually tasted something that's scored on our scoring system above, I would say, a 92 in maybe a year and a half. And I do think that's because I've not dipped my toe in the water anymore of like a Beacon, or even I don't take shots at those upper tier bottles anymore. The Heaven, you and Kelsey were going back and forth between what's better, Heaven Hill 20, Heaven Hill 17. You guys have given me samples. I'm never going to do like a back and forth on that to even have an opinion on like which one I like more. Like, I'm not even like dipping my toes in the water anymore. It's like I'm fine with anything between an 88 and 92 if I can keep getting it at 100 and less, if max 120 and less, and then I just play in that area. So I know it's a different vibe, but that's just kind of where I am. Like, I just don't see the point of taking a risk on a $500, $400, $300 secondary to score it in 88 just in the chance that I get 96, right? Like, it's like,
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, dude. Like, everything I've been gravitating towards has been that mid price point, dude. Like, from 40 to 120 max. I don't know if I paid this year for a bottle that was over 120. Like, I don't even know if I paid for one over 100, to be honest. Like sitting here thinking, like, a lot of it's been our picks. What's Adam say? There are a bunch of there are a bunch at sub 60 that are great. KB Master Blender. I'm not sure what KB is.
He probably means Knob Creek, so it's probably Knob.
Master
KB
Blender,
is Knob. Yeah.
And
then
yeah.
I got a sample of the Evan Williams. I haven't tried it yet.
Copper and Cash just put out a 250th as well. I was with Steven, I think, a couple weeks ago when he was talking about it. 250? That's crazy. Like, no. Like, come on. Silver Springs at $40. Like, 250 for that. That's crazy. That's broken on the wrong side of pricing. Like, I'm not paying 250 for any Starlight. It's tough enough to sell them at, $50.
I mean, when you put yourself in that corner, releasing a 10-year and charging 250 for it, like, what are you going to do at 12-year? Like, is it just going to be like 300, 350?
Yeah.
Are you going to keep like raising the value up on us? Like, or are you going to be like, oh, people didn't buy? I mean, people probably did buy the 10-year. That's probably the sad part of it. But no, that's killing me. I do want to try the Peerless though. I want to try the Peerless 10-year. I am curious about that one.
I've heard good things from everybody that's had it. Just the price sucks. The price isn't great, but the whiskey I heard is good. Oh, excuse me. But I would imagine, like, they have good whiskey. It's just their price points aren't great. You're doing single barrels. They're like $115 at the store, 120 sometimes for the rise. It's just high for what it is. But the whiskey itself isn't bad. I don't think. It's just tough justifying that price when you have a lot of newer companies or even older companies producing whiskey for $50 less that could compete with it.
Still do have a backup. The Starlight Rockstar was a banger. I still have a backup of that one. I actually won that one in like one of the lotteries. Oh, I got to remember to fill out Jason's form. I still need to donate bottles for the Blendageddon finals. You know anything about when that might occur with the Blendageddon finals, Darrell?
No, I think you guys for sure are going for like wild card next week from what he said, I think yesterday. I don't think he's said anything about the actual date for the final yet. I would venture to say, what is this? Today's the 10th? 3 weeks to a month from now. I think it's probably when it's going to happen. I think it would probably be like somewhere in July. I don't think it's happening this month at all.
Okay. It's got some time.
Yeah, we got some time.
Donating bottles to that giveaway, though.
Yes.
St. Jude's is usually the charity. Is it still the charity for this one?
Yeah, he'll probably do St. Jude's and add another one. Last year, I think he did St. Jude's and added a local a local Ohio hospital. I forget what it was, but it was something similar to that he added last time.
I mean, EJ, you're not wrong. I'm already plotting and experimenting with the components base of my next blend. So we'll see. I've got ideas, Darrell. I've got ideas. I might get real weird and funky.
We'll see
and
how
I might for sure be blending this into my. Oh no, he's not going to do Frankenblend. You said.
Yeah.
He doesn't do Frankenblend.
He's going to give us a list of 50 whiskeys. I think it was. He said, "What 40 whiskeys?"
Oh, is that how he's going to contain us? That's the only way to do it.
Yeah, and we got to just pick from those.
I know the whole. It has to be a shelfer thing. Like everything I buy is off the shelf. Technically, I mean, you already heard my whole talk track. I mean, everything is. I might have after allocated stuff. Some of the stuff might be rare. Some of it might be happenstance in my area, but it came off a shelf.
Somewhere.
Somewhere, yeah, exactly. Now, not to sidestep it, I don't know if anyone's been getting into the old dominant wheat whiskey, but I do want to talk about this one. Send tasting notes over on Patreon. OH had some freaking brilliant notes, by the way. He gave us a whole dissertation in the Patreon chat about his tasting notes on this thing. But very interested in this one. Also, do people like this too? Because we were skeptical a little bit. Old Dom, wheat whiskey. Let's see how people like wheat whiskey. But if people like it, we can reach out to Old Dom and we can go for more. So that's the one thing. Oh, well, I mean, once again, these are actually the problem with the picks. When we get picks in, man, I am just
that well too.
I love them. I love them too much, and I want to understand them completely because we got to describe them so much on the streams and everything. Like, I really want to know these things inside out. And it essentially just becomes the only things that I have when they come in. Which then, of course, delays any other breaking down of samples and other things that people have given me.
Have my computer all in my camera.
All right, Richie Z. Jeff, have you and Darrell seen the Gambit number 6? It's a 6-cask wine finish. Just 92 proof, but possibly Heaven Hill juice. No, nothing about it. I do wonder what the 6 wines are.
It's a lot of wine.
So, Tyler, with Nancy stepping down from Joseph Magnus, are you all tempted to get any Joseph Magnus? I mean,
yes. For me, I gotta see what it's about. Like, maybe his stuff ends up being better. Like, we don't know. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm all in for at least tasting one of the new guys' blends to see if it competes. You know, otherwise you're gonna be like, I never know. So,
yeah. So I guess to Darrell's point, I'm not like out of Joseph Magnus cigar blend because I love those finishes so much. But I would say Nancy is synonymous in my mind with the brand so much that there is a prove it moment that has to take place, particularly with the first couple batches. It's almost like that change of hands that happened with Kentucky Owl. Like, either bring that brand forward or who knows what happens after that. So it does worry me in that sense. It is such a big brand, though. I mean, those batches are coming out faster than Nancy could put notes, a couple years ago. And that somewhat was a limiting factor on it too. I really enjoyed picking up a new Joseph Magnus cigar blend and then going on the site and following along with Nancy's notes. And then when they came out so quickly that we couldn't do that anymore, that kind of was part of it too. But I have heard great things about any batches 492 and above. They're calling them the Star Wars batches. Everyone keeps talking about those in chat. So if I see one that's above that range, I'm actually going to buy it.
492.
Just because of people talking about it. 492 or above. Yep.
She's been talking about a lot of the newest stuff too, going back to the high age MGP and Barton back in it, like 15 plus, 15 plus year MGP, then high age Barton. Then she was talking about the other day, yesterday actually, on Marty's, the family reserve ones that she got, that she's looking at doing, or maybe coming up since she's not like blended for them. Like, they got like some 160 proof freaking MGP and Barton like barrels out there that they're trying to mess around with. I'm like, oh my god.
I feel the same way.
I
mean, even if we didn't meet Nancy and have the Still Austin experience and all that type of stuff, like, I'd still be saying this. Like, I was in it.
You don't know though.
Nancy,
dude, it could be better.
It could. That's what. But once again, there's going to be a moment. That's where Joseph Magnus is going to be like, at least for us, it's going to be under a microscope under those like first couple batches. Like,
yeah.
And then maybe they understand that and they try to hit the home runs and they add older stocks to things in those first couple batches just to like have that prove it moment until they then go back to who knows mixing what. But those first couple batches are going to have such a microscope on them that it makes me feel bad. I mean, just imagine every video, like everyone's going to get some bottle on those first couple batches, and then every video that we see in our universe here is just going to be like, is it still better than Nancy's? Is it as good as Nancy's? Like, it's just going to be the thumbnail for all of them. And then I do wonder, though, so many people, that's where I wonder where the brand, we know about Nancy. Like, does everybody know what's going into that actually buys it on the shelf these days? Like, has it become one of those bottles that's more of a anniversary bottle, gift bottle, when you're looking to spend a really big price on something? Like, is that what that brand is now? So it might still have that market. Not for me, though. We'll see. I'm going to be sentimental about it.
I put a little bit of the old before we signed off.
Yeah. And then Nancy talked about that.
That's one to be on the lookout too for. You know, as we were talking about like bottles like up in there. Yeah.
Okay. Randall answered my question for me.
Ice wine, I think, or something like that, I believe.
Yep. That's it. That's my answer to Richie Z's question earlier. I want Nancy's Last Murray Hill.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I want that too.
Man, what'd you get into? Did you get into the wheat?
Mm-hmm.
Man, what do you think about it? Now going back into it, now it's got time to open up.
Dude, it's so weird, right? Because I'm not big on wheat whiskeys nor wheated bourbons. I would say they're probably my least favorite in terms of like the whole whiskey thing. Like, give me all the Americans, the bourbons, the ryes over that. There's a select few. You know, you got some larcenies that are really good, but which are wheated bourbons instead of wheat whiskeys. Then you have some New Holland stuff that's like broken at wheat whiskeys. But outside of that, like, I don't gravitate towards that. This is really, really good, but unique. Kind of how the Copper and Cask wheated bourbon hit me, right? It wasn't that stereotypical, like, for me, when I think of wheat, like, I think of Makers, and it's that doughy, funky stuff, and just not my thing. Drinking this, I don't even know if I would be like, hey, this is not a bourbon. Like, I think I would go bourbon, not rye, right? Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, this is a wheat whiskey. It doesn't taste like a wheat whiskey to me. It's bright. Like, you got that strawberry that everybody's been saying. Nice spice, like the mouthfeel, the finish. Like, it's just a really good put together whiskey. I don't know how much I can really go into it, but
the spice part of it. OH was calling it the red pepper flakes, which I actually thought was a really good note, which is, again, very interesting to call out on a wheat whiskey.
It drank, I wouldn't say it drinks hot, but it's
Mark
spicy.
said that the other night. Mark thought it was hot.
Did he really? Like, I don't think it drinks hot. It drinks its proof. It's what, 120, 125 or whatever the case is. Like, I wouldn't be like, oh, damn, this is hot, I can't drink it. Like, it's not like that by any means for me. But it definitely has some proof to it. Yeah. But it does not nose like a wheater, dude. Like, and that's what I love. Like, we go and pick these barrels, you know, and we try to find something that's not the typical barrel you're going to get from said distillery. You know, like, we look for, something that's just literally going to set itself apart. I think this one does from them. The Hewlins are just broken. When people try those, dude, like, oh my God. Like, we could talk about Still Austin, freaking Divine Dram. Like, we try to find those one-offs from these freaking distilleries, dude. And like, this is wildly different than any freaking wheat whiskey I've had, dude. I haven't had many, but definitely different.
Well,
Very
that's what we
good.
need to hear, though. Hear the feedback on it with the wheat whiskey. Keep
Yeah.
dipping our toes in the wheat whiskey water or not.
Yeah, it's
So,
been good reviews so far from those that I've seen had it.
so Wayne, it's got the Old Forester 117 High Angel Share Rye. So I've got that. It's his favorite rye of the year. It's actually on my to-do list to do a comparison between that and the barrel proof. But I got it at Party Source, and I totally almost passed it up when I saw High Angel Share because I thought it was just the bourbon again. And then when I saw rye, I was like, oh, you are mine. Like, I don't pass on Old Forester rye. Like, nope,
Yeah.
nope. All right. Well, man. Anything else on your list here, Darrell? I think we're winding down.
We are. I did see one question from a name I didn't recognize. It was Vari30. Where is that at?
Oh, yeah. Vari's been in chat for months now.
Vari?
Yeah. You said that literally every time, by the way.
Really? No.
You do. I could probably make a clip show of you saying that over and over and over again.
You should, because like my memory is usually really, really good. And I'm mad that I'm forgetting that. But I think it's hard to spend money on Joseph Magnus cigar blend when you think Copper and Cask. Yeah, cigar blend exists for 60. Yeah, Copper and Cask is another broken one, but they're not going to fix their price, which is great. So they're not going to pull an Ed and say they're going to stay at $40. I think there's going to be one release, which I was talking to Steven. And even that one, he's still hesitant to put over $100. But there may be one that they release in the near future that may be over 100. But outside of that, dude, like regardless of the age, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, whatever it is, their intent to stay under that price point, which I freaking love. And he's doing some great stuff over there, dude. Like for NDPs, man, like, yeah, he's getting all the good barrels and blending like really good stuff and keeping the prices very affordable for everybody. Can't say the same for everybody else, but yeah, Copper and Cask is the shit.
I would say the comparison on this one, though, is Copper and Cask cigar blends are typically 8 years, right? Like they're somewhere right around that range. The Joseph Magnuses, when they're great, when they're what we expect. I said earlier, it's like one of my favorite bottles of all time when it comes to batch 28. That was because it had 12-year Barton, 14-year Barton, 12 and 14-year MGPs. Like it was that type of blend that was finished, which elevated it. And that's the thing that then creates the aura of Joseph Magnus going forward. But then from batches 100 to 300, it was 8-year MGP sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's where MGP market was at that time too. So
yeah. And it was a lot of what does she call it? I forgot what she called it, but there was a lot of bad stuff going on. Like, oh my God, what's the word? I'm like drawing a blank right now. But the barrel line got contamination. There was a lot of contamination during those 200s to, I think, early 300s, I think was the range. So a lot of them were really, really like weird. And I had a conversation with her about that because I had one and I was like, this is terrible. And I think John owns that bottle and he's still in chat. And I was like, this is really, really bad. And we immediately messaged her and she talked about like the cross contamination with like some of the bottling lines at that point of when those were bottled. And it was just bad. And what I got is still not even good. Like noticeably different than like the older stuff.
It's hard to live up to that reputation when you're trying to carry on those brands.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough for sure.
So Richie Z, are you guys going to Blitz? Yes.
There's a
rumor I'm going to be there. Well, I only booked my hotel after that rumor started, Richie Z. So you better be there. That better not be a rumor. If not, I'm canceling. I'm out. I'm Richie Z or bust. That's where I'm at on this.
Richie's there. Finally get to meet this guy. What again? He say, Jeff, you might want to hit up Party Sauce.
Totally buying one of those.
Forge for 40. Yep.
Man, hopefully those last till next week because I won't be able to get there till next week. But those forges are delicious, by the way. That was the blend of the light whiskey, the bourbon, and the rye. I think it's all the mash bills. Those are great.
Nice.
Still, though, something I don't like to see, though, is when brands we love start going on blowout. So, when I see Backbone on sale or Hard Truth on sale or Old Forester, or not Old Forester, Old Dominic. Party Source was blowing out the 86 proof Tennessee whiskey for $20 a couple months ago. I hate to see that. That's not a good sign for the brands that we love. They've also been sitting on the forge for like 3 years, though. So 4 years, maybe.
Yeah.
I think I might have brought the forge to our first meetup, Darrell. Like, I think that goes all the way back to Perry, and we had the forge at that first meetup. I think so.
No.
No?
Mm-mm. It wasn't a thing back then. That bottle wasn't made back then.
Man, it was pretty close.
Maybe a year or so after.
Well,
I remember, I got all those bottles engraved.
We just tested your memory earlier, and you keep forgetting about Vari here.
That name, not whiskey. Whiskey's different. Like, when whiskey hits and we talk about it, me, dude, I remember this. But sometimes the names, I guess, I'm a little off on, but the whiskey, not so much. But it is after 10:30. Jeff, you told me to give you that heads up.
Give me the hook. Give me the umbrella.
We're going to give it. I still need to eat too, man. I know everybody's still here.
Always. Eat before.
I tried, and I didn't have time. Today was kind of crazy. It was a busy day. So I'll hop off this with you, eat me some food, and kind of relax and watch the rest of this thing. Basketball game. Knicks are getting kind of blown out this one, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right. Well, thank you for joining today, everybody, for the extra innings, and we will catch you on the next Whiskey Wednesday. It's going to be a bull run extravaganza. Actually, I'll have to plot something else for that. I'll think on that. But we'll catch you next week, and yeah. Later, everybody.
Cheers, everybody.